When I say they're like family to me, I mean it. I went to the weddings, I hung out with them for years.
And you think these were guys working with the Sinaloa cartel?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure of it. Something dark happened when that fentanyl came. It just changed everything. The driver looks at me and says, "You're a cop." And he hands me a foil and a pill. I says, "Smoke this." I go, "I'm not smoking that." He goes, "You smoke that, you're not getting it, and you're not leaving the truck." So I smoked the whole pill. Every time you have a come up, you always have a come down. I turned to my buddy, I said, "Dude, I think I'm gonna get arrested."
Today's guest is Pete Polis, a former professional baseball player from Long Island who went on to become the largest fentanyl dealer in the history of the state of Washington. Back in 2013, Pete's baseball career was over, and he was living a square life, managing a furniture store in Pasco, Washington, when a chance meeting with a Mexican national changed his life forever. He started off selling small amounts of cocaine and OxyContin, but soon, Pete was working directly with the Sinaloa cartel, smuggling back hundreds of pounds of meth and heroin every week from Phoenix, Arizona. Pete was also on the ground floor of the American fentanyl epidemic, and he virtually introduced this poison to the central Washington region and made millions of dollars for his bosses back in Sinaloa. Of course, Pete eventually got busted and did a stretch in the feds, but nowadays he's fully legit and running sober living homes for addicts in the Tri-City area. And for more crazy stories with Pete, go check out the bonus episode over at patreon.com/theconnectshow. Pete's story feels like an episode of Breaking Bad, a suburban square who fell into the life of major organized crime. It's wild. You're absolutely going to love it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Pete Polis right here on The Connect with Johnny Mitchell. Dude, you live in a tiny little central Washington town.
Yeah.
A long way from Long Island, man.
Long way. And
it's the other side of the planet.
I moved there in 95 after the baseball strike happened.
Okay.
That's why I went there.
I see.
Because, Major League Baseball had a strike, and then they wound up canceling the whole season in 95. That was the year Gidi got drafted and all that stuff.
Right.
And I was with them for about, 6-7 months during spring training, and then went through the whole spring training when the strike happened. And then afterwards, my agent sent me to Tri-Cities, Washington to play with an independent baseball team out there.
And you stayed.
Stayed.
Now tell us about childhood. Tell us where in Long Island were you always a baseball player?
Yeah.
Wow.
Since about probably 4 or 5 years old, grew up son of a detective. That's going to be funny too.
Really?
Yeah, he was a detective, Fort Apache, the Bronx, my dad. And it was baseball. Ever since I could walk, it was baseball. He saw I had a gift. I don't know nothing. When he throw balls, I'm hitting them pretty good. So he saw I had a gift, so he just thrived on that.
Yeah. It's like a stereotype. You're an Italian family from Long Island whose dad's a cop in the Bronx.
And whose mother cooks pasta. My mother passed away just recently.
God bless her.
Soul. Yeah.
Rest her soul.
Yeah, but she at least got to see a turnaround. Because the last time before I got out of prison, the thing she said to me was, "You're dead to me." Somehow she convinced the cop to come into the jail and give me a phone, pull me off, and said my attorney. She lied and
just to tell you you're dead to you?
Just to say, you're a big man now. You're arrested. Your son's in there with you. Good job. I'm like, she says, "I don't know, you're dead."
It's like a Scorsese movie. It's like Olivia from The Sopranos, Tony's mom.
You're right.
Hey guys, do me a big favor and make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you get alerted whenever we drop new content, and smash that like button and leave us a comment if you're digging this episode. All right, back to it. Okay, so you're in Long Island. Long Island, obviously.
Levittown, Long Island. Yeah.
Levittown breeds criminality, drug addiction.
Yeah, back in the day,
crazy.
To be honest, back in the day when in the 70s and 80s, I didn't know much about drugs at all. I knew organized crime families ran a lot of the places around there, ran a lot of the clubs and nightclubs, construction companies, cardboard companies and whatnot. So,
and did you know what the wise guys were? Did you know who the people, what joints were mobbed up?
No, not when I was real young. I just know that, aside from baseball, me and my dad had a certain thing we loved to do. And he loved to go collect bottles. Now in New York, when you go collect the bottles and bring them in to recycle them, it's I think 10 cents or something like that. I don't know what it was back then, but it was good. So he just loved to go collect bottles from dumpsters, and I go with him.
Is he Chinese?
No, Johnny. Unbelievable. To this day, he still does it. And I kid you not, it's a big thing with our family.
Wow.
But I asked him, what do you get out of that? And he said, probably about $125 a week. And he says, every time I get that, I buy one stock of ExxonMobil gas. And he's been doing it for 50 years.
Wow.
So he's
Old
remodeled
school.
his house. But that's how I, finally realized who was connected, who wasn't connected and whatnot. Yeah.
Through bottle collecting?
Yeah.
How so?
I went to this one, if you don't know much about dumps, it's a stupid conversation, but you would think people just throw the bottles in there and don't care. Well, this one club would put the bottles back in the cardboard boxes when they used to open up and I can fold them both sides. And he used to stock them up like, didn't just throw bottles in there. They were stocked in the cases already. So I saw that and I would collect, 25, 30, 40 cases on a Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. And I did that for about 6 weeks. And one day a guy comes out dressed in a nice three-piece suit and he said, "Hey kid, what the f are you doing in my dumpster?" And I said, "What does it look like I'm doing? I'm collecting the bottles, number one. Number two, it's not your dumpster. It's a town of Hempstead." I said, "This is a public parking lot." He goes, "Get out of here. Come here, let me talk to you." So I hopped out and he put his arm around me and said, "I've been watching you for weeks." He goes, "You're at 5 a.m. every single weekend you're here collecting." He goes, "How would you like a job?" And I said, "Doing what?" He said, "Just sweeping up cigarette butts." The guys stand in line at this club and they throw the cigarettes on the ground. He goes, "I just want to clean." I said, "How much?" He goes, $20 a day. I was like, that was in the 70s, 1975, 76. I said, "Sure." So my school, later on, my school was across the street in a big parking lot. So I came there every day after school. My dad would drive me there and I'd spend 35, 40 minutes, doing that.
Wow.
Faithful. And when I was done, I bang on that little metal door. See me, "Hey, Petey, come on in and pay me the money." Every day. And it went on that for about 6 months. And then he asked me to come inside and be a bar back. Now, when I said this on one of the other podcasts, like, no way a 8, 9-year-old kid's gonna be a bar back. I misspoke. He wanted me to get the bar ready at night when it opened. I couldn't be there at night, but he wanted me to. So I'd go down there, I'd see 5 Heineken cases, and I'd go down and I would just stock all the bars and clean up. And then, I'd go home after that. And that went on for years. We're talking about probably till I was 19.
Okay. And then you got a job actually working as you said it's a gopher?
Yeah.
What is a gopher for the mob?
Go get stuff.
A gopher, yeah, right.
Go for this. Yeah, 100%. And mainly it was like, I don't know if it was Thursdays or Fridays. They had card games and stuff like that. And I'd go to work the card games. I'd go in there and, if Bobby wanted a drink, I just go up there, get him a drink, bring it back. And everything's behind closed doors. It's not publicly, you can't get in trouble being underage, but I would just do that, clean up after them. Pete, go get me a sandwich, go deliver this, go tell this, go get that. It was a gopher kid. I was young. I didn't care. I was making good money. And
so you're like Spider from Goodfellas.
except
didn't get shot.
No. Well, I got shot later on, but not from them.
Okay. Do you remember what family this was?
Yeah, but I don't even know if I should say it.
Yeah, you should. They're all gone or ratted.
They're not.
They're still operating.
They went away to Brooklyn Detention Center. They winded up. So years went by, and they had another club. It was going to be a teen club in the front side of the club. So the back was good club, teen club, no alcohol served.
Right.
This was pretty popular. And then, and for the record, I'm not racist at all. But in those days, blacks weren't allowed in those clubs. They didn't like them in the clubs. Say it like that. So,
that's not shocking anyone if you know about Italians from Long Island. Yeah.
That was a stigma that you had to.
Yeah.
But that wasn't me. I was a baseball player. I didn't care, but certain people did. So that went on, and I don't remember the date. I could probably look it up on the internet because it's all over the internet back then. But they winded up burning down the club. The club burned down. Public record.
Yeah.
They burned it down, and then they put themselves as police officers. And this is, like I said, all public records. So they winded up, they were ex-cops that were, crime.
That were running the joint.
They were running the joint.
And they burned it down for
They knew that. So they did a fake counterfeit money sting. They went around to all the restaurants in town and they say, hey, back in the day, believe it or not, people did trust people.
Yeah.
So they say, hey, we have a kind of money sting in this area. We need to collect the money. Here's the forms. If the money's good, we'll bring it back. If the money's bad, here's a receipt saying that, and you can tell. And they did that until they got caught.
Wow.
And when they got caught, they winded up, the fire marshal winded up ruling that fire arson and hit them for the arson also. So they got 16 plus years in Brooklyn, federal penitentiary.
Yeah.
I know one of them, I think, passed away. They're in the 90s now, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know how old they are.
The Lucchese's?
No, it was it was Passion family.
Okay. So,
Back in there. They were connected to Gambino's, Gotti's, and stuff like that.
Right. Okay.
They were all,
so they were like an undercrew to like one of the bigger families.
To be honest with you, it was so long ago. I know what I did for them.
Yeah.
I know the support they gave me. Then I say support because every Little League team I played on, they sponsored it and had their club on the front of the T-shirt.
Wow.
I mean, they loved me. They didn't treat me bad. They didn't make me do anything bad at all. I just was little Petey to them.
Amazing. And it's just basically to pay your way. It's like spending money as you play baseball.
Well, I was so young. It was just money that I put in my pocket. My dad helped me play baseball. I wound up getting a full ride to college, so I didn't pay for college either.
Wow. So where'd you go to college?
New York Tech.
They have a good baseball team?
Yeah, Division I at the time.
Where the f is New York Tech?
New York Tech's Old Westbury, New York.
Okay, so like north, like Westchester.
Yeah. So went there. They gave me a full ride, and we played good teams. University of Miami, Longhorns. We traveled. We played, and I did that for 3 years, my junior year, and then wound up getting drafted my junior year.
What position you play?
I was a catcher, tall catcher.
Tall catcher.
Not as tall as you. How tall are you?
I'm 6'6".
Damn.
You 6'4"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really.
I don't look up to many people.
You got to have really good knees.
I still do.
And good legs to be a 6'4" catcher, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, but I got a 5-year full scholarship.
Were you a good hitter?
In high school, I was a real good hitter. I believe I still have the home run record. Who cares? But still, 1988 home run record never been broken. College 300s, and then when I got drafted. It's a whole different beast when you get drafted. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying they don't care that catchers can hit or not, but they really want catchers to concentrate on calling a game, running the whole team, being able to work with the pitchers, study everything. They don't put as much emphasis on.
You're right.
So I think I was maybe a 240 hitter. Right. I mean, my baseball cards are online. I mean, it is what it is.
That's remarkable. Okay, so you got drafted.
42nd round, got drafted. Yeah.
By who?
Blue Jays.
I love the Blue Jays. I almost won it.
I know they
almost
did.
took it. So, so then you go off to Single A? Is that the process?
Went to Alberta, Canada.
Yeah.
Played with Medicine Hat Blue Jays. I played with them for, I think, 2 years. I got into a really bad fight. I don't know how many people got kicked out of Canada, but I was one of them. I got into I drank a little bit because I was under the microscope when I was young. And I really try not to be that way. I'm a father of three kids, 3 boys, and I try not to press them. But you can't do this, you can't do this. So when I got a little taste of freedom, I just went crazy. And I remember going to a bar one day after a game, and some girl winded up coming up to me, handing me a rose, and saying, "Hey, you're my favorite baseball player," blah blah blah. And I don't know what the hell I was thinking at the time. I must have been pissed off because I don't normally do this. But I cracked the rose and flipped it at her. I said, I don't want this rose, you fat ass. And I walked away. And I don't know what I was thinking, because that's rude. Now I would never do that.
It's brutal.
Brutal, isn't it? It's like, who the hell
do
I think I am?
They are pigs up there in Medicine Hat, but
they dip.
Yeah,
but
big time.
When that happened, I got a tap on my shoulder, and a guy was behind me said, "Hey, that was my girlfriend." I said, well, why don't you put a leash on? Why would you have your girlfriend come up to me? He goes, "She likes watching you play." I was pretty rude. I said, "Let me buy you a drink." He said, "All right." So I went to buy him a drink. As I turned around, he whacked me right in my mouth, and then wound up taking one of my chains off. And so I went outside and got a couple of my teammates. I think it was called the Assiniboia Inn, believe it or not. I think it was a strip club that we stayed on top of in the hotels.
Yeah.
And I went down. I got 2 guys from Dominican Republic, 1 guy from Texas, and we went there and fought 17 hockey players.
Holy!
Rolling their sleeves up. The guy I was with took off, which That was not cool.
So it's like a brawl.
It's
like a
100%.
You don't even see that anymore.
Yeah. So we had a full out brawl. Remember those big old ashtrays that were back in the day, and that got smashed over my nose. I got a cut in the ear. But we did some damage to the guys. Next day, we ran out of there. They're called Mounties. They're not even called cops. Yeah. The Mounties showed up that night, knocking on the door, and we had people taking care of the wounds.
Yeah.
And we answered the door, and they said, "Hey, you guys just at the Sinaloa Inn?" No. What happened to your face? Oh, we were wrestling. All right. And they left, and I thought, cool, we got away with it. But we show up to the stadium next day, and everyone's all lined outside to sign autographs, and they had my card. They said, "Hey, Pete, can you sign that?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they locked me up, and they arrested me, and then brought me to us four. They arrested, and the vice president, I think Bob Nelson at the time, it was Bob Nelson, he had to fly to bail us out.
Wow. And, of the baseball team, of the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Holy.
They had to bail us out at the time, and I was sent home. You know, I got in trouble. I was supposed to go to instructional ball. If you don't know anything about baseball, instructional ball is you had a great season. When everyone else goes home, you're going to go to instructional ball in Florida, and most likely going to break with the bigs for spring training only. But
it's a big step, though.
It was a big step for me, yeah. And that got canceled quick. Damn. So I went home, came back to the next season, flew in there, was in the parking lot. I don't know how the hell people found out, but they had a Kill Polis sign in the back of a pickup truck. These people sitting there out because they didn't like me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's their problem? And they said, the Medicine Hat hockey team hasn't won a championship in a long time. And they were in the championship, but they had to forfeit the first game because a couple of guys had broken jaws and they couldn't strap.
Oh, because you guys f***ed them up.
And they said that, so they were mad. So I go out on the baseball field, and I'm sure it's just a pen lighter, but they had like little lasers on my chest in there in the baseball, and they said, "Hey, you got to go. We have to." So they fired me and just say, "We can't have you. They don't like you. We're Toronto Blue Jays, and Canada does not like you."
Right. So they waived you. So you're out of the organization?
Out of the organization.
Where'd you go? But you got back in. Where did you go?
I got back in, yeah. I wound up staying in Sarasota, Florida. Wound up walking into a bar one day. Had nowhere to stay at the time because I'm fired now, no income. And I met a guy there, and somehow, some way, he's like, "Hey, you know what? Where do you stay?" And I said, "Bro, I am not gay." So he's like, "No, I'm not." He goes, "You look like a baseball." I said, "I'm a baseball player. I'm trying to get a job." He said, "Well, you can stay at my place with me and my fiance across the street." He goes, "If you read one page of the Bible each night." And I was not a religious man. I was like, I can fake that. Free rent? Sure. He goes, number 2, don't sleep with any of my fiance's friends. I was like, I didn't know they had a lot of guests over there. I said, fine. So I was on the couch, and winded up, my agent winded up getting me a tryout in '94 with the White Sox. Okay. And I wound up staying with them for maybe 4 to 6 months to see if I could break with that team. It was interesting because Michael Jordan was playing at that time, so I got to warm up with him and hang out with him. Yeah.
So this is like AAA now?
Spring training. It's a combination of everybody.
I see.
At that spring training, yeah. It's just different fields and
Okay.
whatnot. But the open spring training, so I got to hang out with Jordan, Frank Thomas at the time, huge guy. And Jordan he's an interesting character.
Jordan, he's a dick, right?
He was really nice to me. He just called me New York. He didn't remember my name, but called me New York.
Yeah.
I messed him a little bit. I remember one time he had, I think, the Knicks and the Bulls in the championship during that spring training. And I winded up rustling through the crowd and taping, Knicks, Kane, Bulls, or something like that to his chest. He's like, all right, New York, I got you. I mean, it was funny.
Yeah, that's...
he was, you never seen spring training in your life sold out. Every ticket sold out. It never happens.
Crazy.
But when they told me, man, it's going to be like World War III out there, and I went out there and there was, I don't know how many dozens of helicopters, and just for him.
Unbelievable.
They delivered a brand new red Corvette with a crane on that field with no miles on it and gave it to him.
Yeah.
And he literally said, why don't you give it to one of the guys that don't have the money to buy it?
Yeah.
I could buy your dealership.
He's a real one, dude.
He was nice. I mean, he asked me, hey, I'm signing a bunch of autographs. You want anything? I said, you want mine? He's like, huh? I said, you want my autograph? I said, because you're a baseball player to me. And where were you? I said, no, man, I'm good. And we laughed about it.
Yeah, he took the bus. He was like an international superstar. And
but he bought a bus.
Oh, but he was still there with the single A, like 100%. Guys getting paid $15,000 a year.
I used to warm up with him.
Wow.
Of course, Johnny, just like everybody else. People here, my previous pie, oh, you didn't play anything. And I looked your name up and like, oh, it's right there. It doesn't matter. I mean, so I did that. And
so how'd you play? Did you make the team?
No, I didn't make the team. No, I didn't. I winded up not making because I was trying for big leagues. That's what I wanted to do because you can do an open tryout, and if you have a good enough season, spring training season, you can break with them. And I had a decent one, but not good enough. But then I winded up just leaving there, and I was going to work on a few things and then try another team. And I winded up going. The guy that I was staying with, we picked up. We used to practice with a guy named. Actually, it was John Ford Griffin. I don't know if you remember, but he was at the Yankees. But when we did it, he was like, I think 11 or 12 years old. And this guy, Richie, he was the hitting coach. So we used to go over this kid's house who his dad owned an insurance company, multi-millionaire, owned half of Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time. Wow. And we would just hit with him. So we picked him up from Sarasota High School and we drive and we start practicing. So one day we got to Sarasota High School really early. And Richie's like, hey, you want to go throw? Warm up a little bit? Sure. So I went on the field and we started throwing out of second base, and I see this guy in the parking lot looking down and on the phone, and I'm like, what is this guy doing? He's like, I don't know, man. So he winds up walking to the field and I says, hey, can you throw down the second base and give it your all? I said, sure. So he's on the phone, he's stopwatching. He's like, can you do that consistently? I said, yeah. He's like, what are you doing for dinner tonight? My mind goes, I'm not gay. I don't know, but it wasn't that. He's like, what do you think about becoming a Yankee? And I was like, whatever, dude. I said, you don't have that kind of power. And he pulled this card and he was a Yankee scout picking up a son and happened to see me on the field. And I went there that day, got a hat and wound up 95, wound up, breaking with the spring training with the Yankees. That was the year Jeter got drafted. Yeah. Once again, no one believes you, don't care. But like DJ, we wound up hanging out with him. And
so you made the team off of one tryout?
Didn't even have a tryout. I was signed from the side of the road. As dumb as that sounds, and people want to. I mean, I don't know what to tell them, but
wild.
You just got to look, and it's there.
And that's enough. A scout is enough enough pull for the whoever
for
the
spring
owner.
Training, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So did you make the regular season though?
No, well, strike. I don't know.
Oh,
that strike happened.
Right.
I had a really good season, and I think I was with Jeter, Jimmy Layrich, Jimmy Key, Wade Boggs. It was all those guys at the time. And then when that strike happened and they had people crossing the picket line, scabs and non-scabs, I didn't know what to do. I asked them and they said, man, don't cross the line. You're guaranteed to get fired. Just hang back with us. So I hung back, and I mean, probably a really good time. And I was able to play 3-4 months with the big leaguers until the season got canceled. Yeah. And once season got canceled, since I didn't cross the line, I couldn't do nothing. So I just went home, and that's when I wound up getting a phone call from my agent about an independent baseball team in Tri-Cities, Washington. Tri-City Posse at the time. Now they're the Dust Devils. I think Russell Wilson played. I know Russell Wilson played for them a few years ago.
Okay, so this is how you end up where you are now.
Correct.
25 years later, 30 years later. Yeah,
they just had the 30-year reunion for that baseball team a few months ago, and I went there and saw all the guys again. And
so tell us about, for the people who don't know, Tri-Cities, Washington. This is Washington State. Yeah. Tell us what kind of area like that
High
is.
desert. You would think because of Seattle, it's a lot of rain, but it's high desert area.
Yeah, it's the middle of Washington.
Yeah,
central southern Washington.
Spokane, Yakima, Seattle, Portland, high desert area.
Yeah, it's just desert. There ain't shit out there. Nope. It's Indian reservations, casinos.
I don't know about too many casinos. Wild Horse Casino, yeah.
And a lot of Latinos. It's agriculture.
At that time, when I flew in, Johnny, there was the airport in Pasco, and then there was one gas station. And that was it. There was wheat fields or whatever kind of fields it were. And I told the owner, I was like, man, the stadium's right there. I said, you ever see the movie Field of Dreams? And he's like, huh? I'm like, if you build it, they will come. And he's like, you're freaking stupid. I like, once you buy up all the property, they're going to want to move. Anybody's going to want to move around the stadium.
Right.
And like, no, nothing's here, Pete. I'm like, all right, cool. So I left it like that. To date, Pasco was the fastest growing city in the country.
Is that right?
For how many years in a row? Well, they got over 30,000 houses now, just in Pasco alone.
Yeah.
We went from, I don't know, maybe 175,000, whatever it was back in the day, now close to 400,000. It's pretty packed now.
Yeah, when I was at the Two Rivers Correctional Facility, the OG fans will appreciate this. That's in Umatilla, Oregon. We got the Pasco radio station. So I have no love for that area. It's hot, it's shitty, it's boring, it sucks. But a lot of people move out there because, you can get, a nice suburban house on a cul-de-sac, more affordable than Seattle, certainly.
No more.
Or Portland.
Not anymore.
Yeah, so it's blown up.
Upwards of 300,000-400,000 now for just a.
Well, yeah, that's America, right?
Yeah, but it's growing, especially with the nuclear power plant out there, and they moved a lot of corporations out there.
Right.
Do your balls stink? No, really, I'll wait. Let he without sin cast the first stone at Christ, right? Let he without the stinky balls judge MANDO whole body deodorant. That's what I thought. I mean, does the crack of your ass stink? I can be honest, mine does. It gets about 97% clean on its best day. Well, guess what? With MANDO, the world's #1 whole body deodorant, I can take that stick off, spread my legs, and dab it up and down until it smells like a newborn baby. That's the value of MANDO, you guys. You guys know I love MANDO. I've been working with MANDO now for years. MANDO was created by a doctor who realized that normal BO was getting misdiagnosed and mistreated. MANDO is clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. And it's a whole body deodorant. Remember that. You can put it on any part of your body, and it's clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's grundle odor level was 5 out of 10. Who signed up for that survey? With MANDO, the average grundle odor level is 0 out of 10. If your girl is a grundle licker, you're going to want MANDO whole body deodorant. Check it out. MANDO starter pack is perfect for new customers. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and you get free shipping, okay? And it's baking soda free, paraben free, dye free, vegan even. Doesn't have any of those harmful chemicals that traditional deodorant that you would buy at a grocery store does. Why wouldn't you switch to MANDO? John, you switched to MANDO and you're a customer for life, right? I'm a customer for life. And check it out, as a special offer for my listeners, new customers are gonna get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code Mitchell, you know how to spell my last name, MITCHELL, at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. Once again, that is shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. Spell it with me now, SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Mando's got you covered.
Okay, so how long did you play for this baseball team when you first moved to the Tri-Cities?
I went to playing 3 years, about 3 years with them. It was good, but it was independent. They were owned at the time. Gosh, who were they owned by? I don't know. I think we went to Colorado Rockies was one of them. They switched over the years, but they had a main club. At that time, it was independent, so it was independent of it, but still funded by big leaguers. Now I think it's the Colorado Rockies or the LA or Dodgers, something like that. Now it's their farm club now.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So they're integrated into the MLB. Were you trying to make the league, or had you given up hope of making it to the MLB and just, I don't know, were you just content to play baseball there?
Maybe I did give up hope. I don't know. I had a good time. I had good seasons. Not tremendous seasons, but my main thing was I threw people out. I was a very good defensive catcher, and I threw out 70+% of the runners. Hardly anybody stole on me. Wow. Hitting was still in the 200s.
Yeah.
But once again, when you throw a majority of people out and you can block and you can call a game, you're worth your weight in gold. Now catches are home run kings.
Right. Do you regret thinking back to that bar fight when you were playing with the Blue Jays? Do you think you could have made it if you had just stayed the course and not up like that?
I think a few of my decisions along those lines. If I wouldn't have made those decisions, I think I would have. I was with the 1988. I was on the junior Olympic team in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Had a real good tournament. Was asked to go to the big league, the big Olympics baseball team.
Yeah.
And said no because I missed home.
Huh.
Just almost like a self-sabotage type thing.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Which carried on most of my life.
Exactly.
You know? That's a self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
Pattern.
Why wouldn't I go?
Yeah.
I'm asking you. Why wouldn't?
Yeah. You're 18 years old.
Think about it. Why
what's
wouldn't
your dream?
Yeah. I mean, I played with Pete. I think it was Pete Rose Jr. And this is when Jason Varitek and Charles Johnson Jr. was all there. You know, like when I got drafted, I didn't want to go in the 42nd round. I wanted to go earlier.
Yeah.
I was going to go back, play my senior year. The scout at the time, Neil Summers was his name. He slapped down a newspaper that said, baseball team goes bankrupt in New York Tech. So I didn't have a baseball team to go back to that year.
And you still.
So I was going to, my college coach and my high school coach were going to make some phone calls. And there were teams, University of Miami, Texas Longhorns. They said, UNLV, that they would honor my scholarship. I'd have to redshirt because those big leaguers were playing that year. I'd have to redshirt and then come in another. That's 2 more years of college. A lot of things can happen in 2 years. I just didn't think, like, why? Am I going to wait and then maybe go 10th round or 15th round? So I just said, I'll just sign and I'll get 2 years of experience with professional baseball instead of college.
Yeah, maybe you're scared of failure. Who knows?
100%.
That's got to be what self-sabotaging is, right?
Yeah. Maybe.
You don't take the risk because you don't want to not succeed. Were you using drugs?
No.
You just were a drinker.
Yeah.
Like most baseball players.
Yeah, drinker.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. To be honest with you, I didn't know about drugs until the 2000s, year 2000s. That's when I started hearing some things, but still never really got into drugs until I was in my 40s.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's
how does that happen?
I don't know. I mean, people go through midlife crisis when they get older.
So you have this journey where, take us to when you finished baseball to how you got back and started running furniture stores and started to, get involved with these shady characters that would lead to your downfall.
Well, I came right after baseball. I didn't really do much. Had kids at the time. I was walking and stuff like that. Winded up applying for an enterprise rent-a-car management position and wind up getting, like a management trainee, they call them, or whatever. I winded up doing that, I think, from 98 to 2000 and made it up to branch manager. Was making decent. I think, I don't know, decent money at the time, 50,000, 55,000, I think. I did that for 2 years straight. And then one day I was listening to some music in the office, and the area manager came in and didn't like what I was playing. So she turned it off. I turned it back on. She broke the CD. I quit. Dumb sabotage, kind of. Then didn't know what to do from there. So I literally went back to walking around. I used to go by this one car lot and take my kids there and, describe different cars and what they look like and, the engines they had. And the owner came out one day and said, "Hey, can I ask what you do?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "What do you do for a living?" I go, "I'm not working." He goes, "I see you every day with your kids." He goes, "You know this lot probably better than some people that work here." I'm like, "Well, I don't know." He goes, "How would you like a job?" And I said, "Doing what?" And he said, "Selling." And I just thought real quick, I didn't have a car, didn't have an income. I don't even think I had a cell phone at the time. I don't know. I said, "If you give me a key to the car, any car I want to drive, a $2,500 signing bonus, and a cell phone," I said, "I'll take it." And he said, "Come back tomorrow, we'll talk about it." Came back the next day, he had a check for me, keys. I started selling cars, and I was good at it. I did that. I did that for a couple of years, making decent money, But it's hard, pounding that pavement every day until, off-site sales till midnight and whatnot. I met a couple of different people through that. One day I met a gentleman dressed real nice, suit and tie, Rolex watch on, he just said, I don't know, some people just have something about him. Like, what do you do for a living? We want to know. And I caught him one time. He said, he goes, I own my own corporation. I was like, dang. I said, you look like you're doing pretty good. He's like, I'm successful. I go, man, you ever hire? He's like, not really. I go, well, if you ever hire, I will quit on the spot and I'll come work for you for free until I earn a living. He said, I'll keep that in mind. So time went by. He wanted to come back again and saying, hey, do you still want that? You still want that job? I said, heck yeah. He's like, let's do it. So I went upstairs and quit, 10 grand a month or whatever it was, 8 grand sometimes, depending on, and got him and got to talk to him. We drove around for a little bit. He took me to a church and I said, what's this? And he's like, this is where I work. And I said, it's a church. I said, you said you own a corporation. He goes, I do. It's a 501c3. I said, what am I going to do? He's like, I don't know. You said you wanted to work for free till you earn the money. So I guess you got to think of what to do. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, I was once again in a position that I was unsure of my income. So we walked around the church and they had different ministries, and he opened up a pantry or something like that. There was some food in there. And I said, what's this? And he goes, this is how we feed the people in the community. I said, bro, you couldn't feed my family in this thing. I said, a food bank should be something big. He goes, well, maybe start there. That's what you can do. Go raise the money and go build what you want. So I winded up talking to my wife, who was an employee there 20 years before I ever married her. And one of her friends, I asked them to make me a brochure, and I was going to go hustle. I was going to go in the streets and hustle and raise money. And I made different appointments with different companies in the area, big corporations. And I winded up meeting with a big sheet metal company. And I had the whole board of directors meeting there. Everyone was there, handed it out. And I got to the point where I told them it was a food bank for the community. And the owner, CEO, said, what are you doing here? I go, I'm raising money for a food bank. He goes, you said it was an investment opportunity. I said, it is. You're investing in the community. He goes, I'm not giving you shit. I'm not giving. And I said, well, you know what? I don't need your money, you fat ass. And he's like, this is my place. He goes, you can get out. I'm like, so I started gathering my stuff up, and vice president was in there and cleared the room and said, Pete, you know who that person is? I said, yeah. I said, but man, he's rude. I said, he thinks just because he has money, he can talk to me that way. He's like, what do you need? I said, man, I'm looking at this warehouse. It's $779,000 and I need to raise this. I'm going to make this big, huge warehouse. I'm going to feed the community. And he said, you know what? And the manager, the finance manager from the church was there. The pastor was there also. And he says, well, how about this? How about I'll help you guys purchase this? I mean, it's a long story, but to make it short, we walked out with $779,000 the next day to buy this old oil refinery warehouse and convert it into a food bank. And it was a lot of work, but community was on board. I had to raise like $62,000 for escrow and to do core samples since it was oil. They had to make sure it wasn't polluted. And so I sold tiles. I looked in the ground and saw a 12 by 12 tile and a 6 by 12 tile. And I thought if I could put the family name on that, I could probably sell the small one for $500 and the large one for $1,000 as a write-off. And so I pitched it. I went around the community and I said, man, you're going to help be the foundation, the cornerstone to this. I mean, I got the lingo
Amazing.
down.
Wow.
And raised the money. And to this day, I think they just closed down, but it was brought up during my sentencing. The judge brought up that they did the discovery and the background investigation. They said, man, you've raised in the millions of dollars to build this food bank that fed 750,000 people with 15 million pounds of food for that church. He says, now you're sitting here on drug charges. He goes, what the hell happened to you? I'm like, man, I just can't get into it.
Wow.
But, so that's how
we're going to get into it.
Yeah. So that went on for almost a decade. Working
running
for the
a food
church.
bank. And are you getting paid? Are you paying yourself through the 501c?
I wound up earning a salary from the church.
Okay.
You know, it was only a couple $1,000s a month, but it was still something.
Okay. So you weren't making bank off of this food bank?
I didn't make a dime off that. That was a write-off of the church.
Okay.
That was a ministry.
Okay.
But we impacted the community. We had Macy's and Target and all these big companies giving us semi-trucks full of stuff. So if you needed food, if you needed clothing, if you needed something, we can get it for you. And I did that for almost a decade. And,
it's amazing.
And then my pastor died like literally. Went to the doctor, had a pain. Next thing you know, he had cancer. And within 30-something days, it just killed him. And it destroyed me. Like I finally found what I thought was my calling, and he died. So I ran. I literally quit that church and ran to Arizona.
Did you take your family, or did you run from the family?
I kept my kids. My kids were with my ex-wife. I was remarried. I took her, left the kids there. They were going to do the summer and winter thing. But I was so messed up, man. I wasn't even thinking at that time. I just think I need to get as far away from that hurt as possible, and start new. So
you went to Yuma, Arizona.
I went to Yuma, Arizona to work for a safety compliance, OSHA compliance safety company. In the prisons. So I was in prisons teaching inmates how to use, it's called a Vici dollar. You can make outside phone calls to companies about the OSHA, but not using a phone, using a headpiece and a double click, because they're inmates and you can't do that. So, but I was teaching them how to sell and then paying them and helping them earn some money. I mean, I think they made $6 an hour, $3 an hour in the books, $3 an hour on a check when you leave. And you can't have any violations, no shots, no nothing. If you got in trouble, or if you're 1 minute late, you got fired. So it was a very coveted position for the inmates. You know, and I was in there managing. And to me, that wasn't what I wanted to do. I mean, it was something for the time, so I took it. But I remember my first check that I got. I looked at it and I was like, "What? I can't do this."
Bullshit.
Bullshit. Yeah. So I said, is there any position in this company that you can make more than that? I don't want to know what I'm going to make a month. I want to bust my ass and make money and be rewarded for that. And he said, you can do sales, cold calls. You can call companies and try to sell them OSHA and stuff, and you get paid, I think 7%, whatever it was a certain percentage. But you can get paid for that. You make your own hours. If you don't sell anything, you don't get paid anything. If you want to work 20 hours a day, work 20 hours a day. You do what you need to do. And I started excelling in that. Within an hour, I made more than I made on the whole paycheck doing these calls. So I was like, this is good. So right around the time of the Valdez oil spill, you remember that back in the day? They were doing hazmat, hazwapper cleanups, selling stuff that you had to have certain PPE to wear. And we were calling every place around that area and was just killing it. But I had a lot of requests for on-site training. Like they were paying people bank to go there and clean up. You had to get trained, 40-hour training, and then you can work. But the company I was with did not do on-site training. And I made sure of that. I asked the owner, he goes, we'll never do that. I said, okay. So I went home that lunch period and had my friend make me up an on-site training website that I can show up, and I was going to use the material and I was going to send people to the site. And so my first weekend, I closed like $39,000 in sales. Wow. And I sent people out there, and the receipt from the company went to my work email, and that was a conflict of interest. So I got fired. So, I mean,
so you're a go-getter. You're taking opportunities. You're clearly an entrepreneur. You just have it in your bones to just make shit happen creatively, but nothing nefarious. But you seem your life is kind of hapless.
100%.
Yeah, your life is hapless in the fact that you seem to fall into these opportunities and then you get canned on the back end.
Yeah.
So you go into furniture sales, or is that when you went back to Washington?
The vice president of that company still liked me. I said, hey, I go, what am I going to do? He's like, go sell furniture. I said, bro, I'm not going to sell furniture. He said, anybody with a heartbeat can make 40 grand a year. I'm like, I don't know. I said, there's only 3 places in town. So I went there and asked for an interview, and they said, they're going to give me a call back. I went in 6 days in a row, and they know. So finally I got so irritated. I said, hey, what in the hell do I have to do to get somebody's attention about making money for this company. And I think at that time, the manager was there. The whole store manager was there, and she's like, I'm right here. What can I help you? I said, I've been here 6 days in a row. None of your salesmen at all came up here and asked me for if I needed help with anything, and I'm trying to get hired here. And she goes, well, let me call you Saturday by 11. So 11:01 on Saturday, I called her and I said, listen, this is bullshit. You guys told me 11 o'clock. She goes, fine, you're hired. Just come in. Come in tomorrow. So I went the next day. And they told me I was going to shadow somebody. I said, I ain't shadowing anybody. I said, I don't want anybody that didn't approach me. I just, because, Johnny, sales are sales. It doesn't matter what you sell, it sells. So I winded up getting hired. Within 2 weeks, I made it to a sales manager position where I was able to negotiate my own percentages, bonuses for delivered for the people, the salesman on 2 places. So when it all came down to it, it was probably between 11 and 15 grand a month if I worked hard. And I did. It was what they called at the time $1 million writer is just $100,000 in sales a month for the company consistently. So I was number one in that area for years. So I didn't think that was my calling, but I thought, man, I'm pretty set, making 150, whatever, 40,000 a year. I got a nice car. I run 2 businesses. What can go wrong, And then I got a call about a family emergency with my kids, and I just needed to come back home. And I don't. When it comes to my kids, nothing stands in the way. So I literally quit on the spot. I went online. I rented a 2-story house in Kennewick, and I looked for the franchise from that store in my area, and I was in that area. So I blindly emailed them my stats and the application, and they said no at first, but then the owner saw that and then he hired me on the spot. Still a very big cut in pay because you're going from a whole town with 3 stores, 2 I sold from, the Tri-Cities that has 20 furniture stores. So you're not going to make the money you make.
So you're back here. What happened to your kid? What was the emergency, if you don't mind me asking? Can you talk about it?
No, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
No
worries.
It's nothing big. It was just something happened between him and my ex and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to make it easier on my kids.
You guys, I've been using a Ridge wallet for years now, almost a decade. Long before they were a sponsor of the show, I got rid of my old, big, clunky leather wallet that was hurting my back, and I upgraded to the future of wallets. That's Ridge Wallet. You guys know Ridge Wallet by now. They're 10% lighter than normal wallets. And with the Ridge 2.0, they've got modular improvements with cash straps, money clips, and AirTag attachments. Remember that AirTag attachment? That's if you lose your wallet, there is an AirTag built into it so you can actually find it. That's incredible. It's like having an iPhone in your wallet. That's amazing. Holds up to 12 cards plus cash. They've got over 50 colors and styles to choose from. You can even get a wallet that features every NFL, MLB, or college team. This is perfect for a holiday gift. I'm giving all of my in-laws and my brother and sister, probably even my mom, a Ridge wallet. They're the perfect stocking stuffers, right? Who would say no to this? Plus, all Ridge wallets have a new industry-leading built-for-life warranty. If something goes wrong, if something needs to be fixed, you just send it in, get it repaired, and they send it back to you with no extra charge. And even if you do lose your wallet and aren't able to recover it, they've got you covered. They will reimburse you, send you a new one. Again, no extra charge. And hurry, because the holidays are here and Ridge is having a huge Black Friday sale. Head to ridge.com, that's RIDGE.com, to get up to 47% off your order. This is by far the biggest discount they've given all year. That's ridge.com for up to 47% off your order during their biggest sale of the year. And after you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that the Connect sent you. Thank you, Ridge.
So you're back being a dad. You're back in Kennewick in the Tri-Cities.
Yes.
What went wrong?
I got in my own head. I was sitting there one day, and my kids had their friends over, and one of the guys went into the garage to make a phone call. And I just heard, I kind of leaned in when I heard opiates and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what's he talking about? And he's like, I heard $1 a milligram and this. I'm like, wow, that's making good. So when he came out, I'm like, hey, bro, I heard your phone. He's like, I'm so sorry, Mr. Polis. I said, don't be sorry. I said, what are you talking? I said, where do you get that kind of money? And he said, well, he goes, I got clients that will buy hydros or, oxys and $1 a milligram. I said, $30 a pill, 100. He goes, yeah. He goes, I go, you know where to get that stuff? He's like, you go to doctors and stuff like that. And so he says, or you can,
How old are your kids and their friends?
This is in 2013. So was that 12 years ago? So they were teenagers.
Right.
The teenagers. One wasn't born at that time.
Right. Okay. So your teenage son's friend is already selling oxys.
Yeah. Yeah. He was older, but he was already selling oxys.
And he was getting them for 30 and selling them for 100?
No, I don't know what he was getting them for. I just know that he was selling them for $1 a milligram.
Right. And what was he saying most people were requesting? How many milligrams?
The higher the better. The higher the better. They didn't like the hydros because you see the acetaminophen in there. You could, and when he tells me he can't smoke them, I'm like, what do you mean smoke them? He's like, yeah. He said, you can crush them up, snort them, smoke them. He goes, you can dilute them and shoot them. I'm like, what? He goes, but not the narcos because they have acetaminophen. You don't want to shoot Tylenol through you. I'm like, So I need to do some research. I'm new at this. I didn't do this.
You're naive.
I'm naive, and I'm very curious. And I already moved back home, and took about a $50,000-$60,000 pay cut.
Right.
So I was still doing good. Anybody makes $60,000 a year or more is doing good. So
not all places, but in Kennewick, Washington, for sure.
At that time, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I don't even think about it. But I was curious. Naive to it, very curious. So I started asking questions, and I started hitting my contacts that I've known there for almost my whole life there, and found who the dirty doctors were, and found out, can I get an appointment with them, and literally just started seeking it out.
Okay, so you realized it was illegal.
That's the funny thing. I can't really think back to that time. I didn't know. I knew it was illegal, but I didn't know the repercussions were going to be so much in my mind.
Did you maybe think, okay, well, I know this is technically illegal, but it's not like there's some gray area in it? Did you not think it was like a felony the way that like selling heroin would be a felony? No. Like, how did you rationalize it?
I don't think I did. I think I just said, I'm good enough at what I do. I'll find a way and won't get caught. In my mind.
Okay. So you knew it was illegal. You knew exactly
what it was illegal.
You knew what time it was.
Yeah. I didn't realize at the time different drugs had different repercussions.
Schedules.
Right. Yes. Schedules. I didn't know all that at the time. So.
And you've never done drugs?
I've gotten to injuries before they maybe gave me some hydrocodone or something like that. But I was never hooked on them like that.
Right.
Maybe muscle relaxers. Later on in my years, I take muscle relaxers. A lot of times, it was to deal with my pastor's death at the time. Mm-hmm. I wanted to just numb my brain, so I drank a lot. Mm-hmm. And when you drink a lot and you hang around bars, you happen to do stuff. But it was never to the level that I was about to get into ever. Okay. So all I knew is that I'm making good money. I have a store that has a lot of people coming in and out of it.
You're managing this furniture store?
I'm managing a furniture store, and I would mostly sell at night on my lunch hour. Okay. And then since I managed a store, I was able to sometimes take breaks. Hey, I'm gonna go run and get a drink, and then go deliver. So I really picked and chose who I wanted to deal to at that time, because it was close friends only, because my trust level. I didn't trust that many people.
Right, because it's a small place still.
Small place.
It's a small place. You're getting and you're sourcing oxys from dirty doctors. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah. First, I got my own. I went to the dirty doctor, but with a legitimate injury that I've had for years, but never sought any kind of medicine for it. And funny thing is, I went in there, was a female, and she winded up during the physical. She winded up either tapping or grabbing my ass or something like that. And I looked at her, I was like, are you for real? I said, it's like this? And she goes, it can be. And I was like, man, I'm not into that.
She's real dirty.
She's not good looking.
She's real dirty.
So she said that. She goes, hey, I heard you can sing. I said, what the I had a friend of mine that I used to go karaoke a lot. And she heard you can sing. I said, that is so freaking random. What are you getting at? And she said, I guess her husband was up high somewhere in maybe Colorado with the oxygen was lower and had an aneurysm. So he could still think, but his body was kind of, he can't really get around anymore. Yeah. And she goes, he used to go singing with me. She goes, would you go singing karaoke with me? Maybe once a week or something like that. I said, well, what are we talking about for prescriptions? And she's like, well, what do you think you need? And I said, well, I could definitely use some Oxys, Xanax, and fentanyl patches.
Wow.
I heard of fentanyl. So my first appointment, I got 120 Oxy 15s, 1550 MCG microgram patches, and 150 Xanax. Every time I went back, it got more and more.
Wow. And all you had to do was go out karaoke with this old sad woman. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot of money.
So in my mind at that time, Johnny, I said, that's a doctor, dude.
Yeah.
I just got to watch what I'm doing, because I can make a living off this. Yeah. You know? And so in my mind, I'm like, well, doctors give me a prescription for it, so I can't get in trouble for that.
Right. How much did 120 Oxys cost you per pill?
Like, without insurance, everything costs about $200 for the whole prescription.
Wow. And you're selling each pill for...
Yeah, $15 a piece. So
crazy margins.
But it went up quick. It went up to 30s, so like 20s real quick.
Yeah.
And then I was getting 180 of those, and then I was getting the 75 and 100 MCG fentanyl patches, which I didn't know. I just thought, hey, you put them on, that's it. I didn't know there was a whole entire thing with that.
Okay, tell us. I'm fascinated by this. Tell us about, because this is like 2013, so fentanyl from Mexico hadn't like exploded yet. Tell us about the fentanyl patches. What are those?
They're transdermal fentanyl patches. So you put them on, and then over a period of 24 hours, it releases it like a time release. Yeah. So you don't feel it.
Wow.
You don't feel it enter your system right away, but after a while you do. But there's always ways to go around it, which I didn't know at the time. So I started looking into it, and then, you get people that come over, put the patch on, then you can put a towel over it and an iron, and the heat instantly releases it into your system.
Did you know how deadly it could be?
No.
Did anybody OD that you sold a fentanyl patch to?
No.
Thank God.
Thank God. Because I see how many people are dropping right now. Right. But back then, I'm not going to say I didn't, no one abused my stuff, but I knew everyone I dealt with, and I didn't have any. Now a lot of them are dead last 2 years. But at that time I did not.
So were your clients, like, did you notice their addictions getting worse and them demanding higher dosages?
Not yet.
Okay. No. Tell us about how the business grew.
It grew substantially. And then once word got out that I was dealing, a lot of my friends that knew me from back in the day, and that would hey, you ever want to go into this line? You ever have this line? So I had a guy come by and throw some coke my way, and I did not know about that. I knew about it, but I never did it. And to me, I thought coke was worse than pills, because pills were prescription in my mind, and coke was not. So he said, just give it away then. I don't care. It's yours. It's free. So I gave it to one of my friends. I said, hey, go see what you can get for this. And it took 20 minutes to call back. He goes, dude, what was that stuff? I said, this guy gave me some coke. He goes, how much can you get? I said, I have no clue. I didn't know what I gave you. I think it was a gram. I don't know. And he goes, dude, if you can get more, he goes, my guy likes it. And I was like, well, how much does he like it? And he goes, he'll buy what you can get. So I called the guy back and I said, hey, it's you got his interest. He's like, I knew I would. How much you need? I'm like, I don't know. I said, well, how much is it going to cost me? He goes, well, I'm just going to front you. I know you. So, all right, so cool. So what are you going to do? He drops off an ounce. It started that way. And then it comes, I still wanted to keep things away from work. So I got 4 or 5 real good people I knew can sell. And they meet at my house, my apartment at Thursdays. And I have a whiteboard, and I would put the colleges in the area. And I load them up and I say, all right, you're going to go to Eastern, you're going to go to, this one, this one, this one. I think 3 or 4 bigger colleges. And then meet me back here Sunday with the proceeds. So we were doing it like that.
Oh, and you were giving these guys coke?
I was giving 4 guys each, maybe an ounce or 2 ounces, whatever it was at the time.
Okay.
And they would leave and they'd go party it up all weekend long and sell, and then come back and we just keep doing it.
Wow.
So,
and were you keeping the pills going? Were you keeping the opioids going?
Yeah. I kept it going because everyone we're talking doctors and lawyers. It was I didn't know. Have you seen the movie Blade?
I never saw Blade.
Okay.
I'm
there's
the
a
only
part,
one.
There's a part when the sun, they do a fast of the sun going down, and then the nighttime and how the freaks come out at night, so to say. I didn't realize it was such a nightlife. People during the night just came out that I didn't know, and now were readily available to meet. And so
you were surprised by who was using drugs?
Oh yeah.
Especially in a small town like that where everybody's keeping airs,
Yes.
keeps up appearances during the day, but
100%. Yeah.
They're suppressing a lot of what makes them feel the need to get high.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess a freak accident sort of thing was one night, Thursday night, I had my whiteboard out and I had people over the house. I guess one of them was on, remember Skype, when Skype started getting, so they were on a Skype video call with a family member in Tijuana, just family member. And I'm doing my thing on the whiteboard, and I guess the girl had a baby with somebody involved with Sinaloa Cartel, and just said, "Who's that guy?" "Oh, that's so-and-so's boyfriend." "What the hell is he doing on a whiteboard this late at night?" And she told him, he's like, "I'd like to meet him." Didn't know that, just said, "Hey, my friends want to meet you." I just thought, cool, just another deal, no biggie. I said, "Who are they?" I said, I don't want to meet them with anything on me. I want to just meet them, shake their hand, get a feel for them. So they set it up. They came to my apartment, but.
Wait a minute. So one of your dealers.
No, one of my friends that was just hanging out at the house.
I see. It was a Mexican guy.
No.
So he had a baby mama from Tijuana.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. And then on the Skype.
They were in Tijuana, actually San Diego at the time. They were staying in San Diego. They were talking Skype and saw me. So.
And just like that, you told them you were a coke dealer. They go, "I'm going up there."
Within 2 days, they showed up at my house.
Wow.
First got a phone call I didn't recognize. It's, "Hey, it's so-and-so. I'm friends with so-and-so. They said I can meet you." I'm like, "All right, cool. Just come to my apartment. Let's walk out." They said, "Can you meet us in the parking lot?" I said, "Why?" And they said, "Well, a truck broke down and it's getting towed there. And I need to know where to park." I'm like, "All right, well." I went down there and had a Ford Ranger. And they pulled in and they showed a truck. So they parked it and they had one of those hard top canopies and they say, "Hey, we want to know if you'd be interested in helping us move some stuff." And I was like, "Well, who are you?" And he told me, and I'm like, "Well, what do you need help moving?" I said, and he had probably, I don't know how many pounds of meth were in the back, but it was all lined the bed truck with the clothes. And I was like, my son told me, "Dad, don't ever get involved with meth. It's dirty."
Wow.
So in my mind, I can't do that. That stuff's bad.
He sent it up from California?
He was driving it there anyway.
Wow.
From wherever. He had people in that area, but asked me. I'm like, "Well, I don't know what I can do with that because I don't want to get involved in that." They said, "Well, it'd be beneficial if you'd help us out." I don't know how to take that, but I'm like, "Well, how about this? I'll make a couple calls, see if there's any interest while you're in town. Let's go get some beers and hang out." Because I hung out in there. I called, I think, I don't know, a surgeon or something like that, a lawyer, and I think I maybe sold 2-3 pounds, maybe 4 pounds for them, from that thing. It was only $1,000 a pound at the time.
Wow.
So.
How long did it take you to sell 4 pounds of meth?
A couple phone calls. Well, I made the phone calls. They made the commitments. I just took it. I maybe 3-4 days, maybe.
Holy shit. That's a lot of meth, dude.
It is.
Is that retail? You're selling it out, or are you just giving off pounds?
I just whatever they wanted for it. That's what I told the guy. I wasn't even gonna get. I said, "I'm helping out." To me, if I didn't take payment for it, then there's no strings attached, and I don't have to do anything else. I just helped them out as a friend. Cool. So sorry. So he winds it up saying goodbye to me. 6 months, 7 months passed. Don't hear a word from him. One day I got a call and he said, "Hey, it's so-and-so. Do you remember me?" I said, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "Well, the guy that introduced us just got arrested in trying to cross Tijuana border with some marijuana, and he's in prison. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I know that you used to live in Arizona. I want to know maybe if you can help us bring some cars back. And I said, I'm not bringing any cars back with drugs. He says, no. He said, you don't have to. He said, just, be a pilot or be an anchor. I'm like, he's like, yeah, just 3 cars, one in the front, one in the middle, one in the back. Just, I said, what does it pay? And he told me, I'm like, I'll try one. So I did that.
What do you mean? What do you mean bring cars back? Explain yourself.
One of the, cars that were loaded with drugs would be the middle car.
Of course.
We had a front car, maybe a mile or 2 that would drive ahead and communicate. We couldn't get more than, I don't know the mileage because of the 2-way radio, that it wasn't cell phones, it was that you can communicate with them.
Right.
And then the anchor one, how I was explained to it, maybe I'm wrong, but how I was explained was if the front guy notices any cops, notices anything out of the ordinary, he'll let the middle guy know, give enough time to either slow up, fix, do what he gotta do. If for some reason that guy misses it and he gets pulled over, then that's the guy in the back. It's his responsibility to get that cop's attention off them, do whatever it needs to do.
Yeah, cause an accident, go start speeding.
Whatever, correct.
Okay, so he's the anchor car. So this is after the drugs have already crossed into the States, right?
They're already in the States now. Yeah, they're in Phoenix, and I'm just going to drive the Phoenix, pick it up, and drive it home.
And are you the front car?
I was the front one for a while.
And how much are you getting paid per run?
I got paid in product.
Okay.
I didn't want to get paid in cash.
Yeah,
I wanted to get paid in product. Smart. So at that time, Coke was doing good, so I was winding up getting Coke from them. I don't even know what it was, how much they gave me, but it was a decent amount in my mind.
How do you not know? Like, I actually don't buy this, Pete. How do you not know? You're a successful drug dealer by now. You're a smart guy. You're a salesman. How do you not know the quantity of cocaine they're giving you?
Because at that time,
you have to weigh your product out to give it to customers. You must know something about the weight.
Here's the weird thing. To me, it was I know I'm driving, but it's free.
To you, it's free, so you don't.
To me, it was free. So I took it.
Don't you have a scale at home?
Oh, yeah. I had plenty of scales.
So you didn't take the Coke and just simply place it on the scale when you got home?
It would be equivalent to, however it had to be at the time, it was equivalent to about $5,000 a trip around. So I just don't know what that
maybe like 8 ounces or something. You were helping mule back Coke, just selling it off in grams and 8 balls, or did you still have people hustling for you?
I had people hustling. I really had a full-time job, so I didn't want to expose myself yet.
Okay, but you're making good money.
I was making good money without it. So when I say to you, I don't know. I didn't care because I really honestly did not care. I liked taking the trip. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And I'm getting free drugs. I'm making good money anyway. So
are you getting high now? Or are you?
I've tested, but I wasn't addicted. But I tried Coke and meth. I would try it and keep me up on the trips. Sometimes I do 2 trips in 9 days, 8 days. That's long.
Okay, so you're really working with these guys.
Yeah, on my days off, I would move. I'd move that because he asked me to do it. I did it a couple times. And I said, hey, I'm not going to just work for you. I want to work with you. And he's like, well, we can partner up on this. And so we did. We just partnered up and anything that I needed, he would do it. And when I don't know what other podcast was on when I was talking, they said, I can't believe you subjected your kids to that. You don't think, I wasn't thinking straight, obviously.
I would never ask you a gay ass question like that. This is The Connect. I don't know what kind of square podcast, what kind of Christian podcast. How could you subject your kids?
Well, because they asked me, did you keep your kids out of it? And I said, my one son, he was using, and he knows I wouldn't sell to him. So he's getting it from other people that had really honestly bad, and when I say bad stuff, they would cut a lot of stuff. And I don't trust what they were doing with it. And people were getting bad batches and stuff like that. So I didn't want so I winded up having my son come on me with a couple of trips.
Oh, how could you subject your son to that,
so
Pete,
dumb.
dude? You didn't tell me all that. All right, so what's your son? Is he smoking meth? What is he doing? What is he?
At that time, I think he did everything.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
He would do everything. But I know it sounds terrible, but I didn't want him buying it sounds stupid. It wasn't even money because he didn't buy it from me. I gave it to him. But I know people that were cutting stuff with bad stuff, and I know that's no excuse, Pete. I don't know what to tell you. I wasn't thinking straight. So
no, it's just rationalizing. Yeah, you're already in a hole.
But they would come by. They would watch my kids, which sounds dumb. When I'm out of town, at that time I was divorced. Mm-hmm. Who's going to watch my kids? I mean, I had people babysitting them, but they were older, but driving them to school and help out. They were like family. When I say they're like family to me, I mean it. I went to the weddings, I hung out with them for years. Wow.
And you think these were guys working with the Sinaloa cartel?
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. But I mean, like I said, they were. I guess no one can say they were friends of yours, but they were good to me.
Of course.
And I'm sure I made them a ton of money, but when I say we did things beside that, like we went on vacation and it was fun to me. It was fun. It didn't seem like you're doing something terrible because
the business is very chill on this side of the border because they got to lay low. They're here to make money.
Yeah.
They're not here to, get in shootouts with cops.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. Did you know what kind of quantity you guys were bringing back on these trips?
I think at one point in time when I learned how to start wrapping it, there's a whole process to wrapping it, and you put the Tres Flores lotion, and then you put the hot mustard, and you wrap it in saran wrap, and you're doing all that stuff, and then you have to put it in. I think it's like electrical tape or some kind of black tape afterwards, and the layers have different smells to it to try to deter
the dogs,
the dogs and stuff like that.
Wow!
And when I was doing that and learning how to put them in, taking the glove compartment out and putting them up inside the glove compartment.
Okay, so they had you at the trap spots in Arizona.
Yeah.
Loading the cars down.
Yeah, in different stores and warehouses. Wow. That's what I said. When I said I was friends, when I walked in, hey, Pete, how you doing? And no one quite, who are you? They knew who I was because I was with them so long. So it was just family.
So how much work? So you were actually wrapping up. Was this mostly coke? Was it mostly meth?
The three things for sure in the beginning was coke, meth, and heroin.
Yeah.
The meth already came packed. It was the other stuff that needed to be cut up and put in there. So the coke and the meth, so the coke and the heroin needed to be cut up. You mean like to be prepackaged and stuff like that?
So how did it get across the border?
I don't know. I just picked it up in Phoenix. I have no clue.
So you would unwrap the coke or the heroin?
The coke and the heroin. If it was a big chunk of it, they would weigh it out and break it down into smaller pieces so it could be hidden easier.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it wasn't like over the border. It was here. We were just making sure that they were in 1 pound or 2 pound chunks. Making sure they had a good form to it so they can be stuck up in there.
Okay. So they were just breaking it off of kilo blocks.
Yeah.
And then making them into
100%,
pounds.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So how much? Yeah. How much?
I think at
coke were you bringing back?
Pinnacle at one point in time, I think it was around 30 kilos at one time. But it's not big. 30 kilos takes up this much space.
Right.
It's really not big.
It's a lot of coke, though.
It was coke, meth, and combined.
Okay, so you would combine them.
Yeah, just the packages. The packages were, 2 pound packages or 1 pound packages.
Okay.
So
you bring back a variety, all three.
All three of them. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we would meet, whoever was following me at the time when I got into it, because I just wanted to know how much the middle guy got paid, and it was significantly more.
Right.
So I said, well, I've never gotten in my mind. I said, I've never gotten pulled over. I'm an upstanding citizen with no record, never been arrested. As you look at my background, you'll see. I said, man, I'm a perfect candidate. Even if a cop pulled me over, I could talk my way out of it. That's my thought.
What was your backstory? You must have had a backstory if you got pulled over.
Yeah, I'm getting the rest of my stuff in Yuma. I used to live there for years. And due to a family emergency, I had to come home. And I still have, here's the address, my license. I still had the Arizona license good till 2035.
Yeah, good.
So I had that. And
what kind of cars would they have?
Different ones.
Just modest cars?
Ford Fusions.
Yeah.
I drove a lot of Ford Fusions. We had a truck once, big old Chevy truck. Uh-huh. But just ones that the wheel wells were big enough to put things in the wheel well.
Yeah. And the guy driving and the anchor car, these were Mexican or Mexican Americans?
Probably Mexican Americans.
Okay.
Because they were on the side of the border.
Right.
I mean, one time I went to LA, which I wasn't going to one of the regular spots in Phoenix, and went to a FedEx store in LA. I think it was at a a drugstore that also has FedEx, and it had a box that was shipped there. And went in there and opened up, and there was all stuff in there. I said, I didn't know they did mail at the time because I'm new to it.
Welcome to my world. Yeah, they do that cross border too.
Yeah,
for sure.
We did that, and so I mean, once I got it back to Tri-Cities, I had a spot that we would meet, and it'd be off the beaten path, and it'd be up where in between Tri-Cities and Yakima area, where it's not mountains, but the hills, and then we went into this little canyon area where no one can see. And it was like a really weird area, like, why are we here? And I said, because you can hear the sound, you can hear from miles, you can hear choppers, you can hear anything because of the reverb in that area. Yeah. So we used to go there and break everything down. And then I used to get my stuff go my way and they go their way. And
how much would you get if you brought back, 30 keys of all these different drugs? What would they give you? A
lot of the stuff was spoken for at the time. I got cash up until the pills started coming into the picture, and that was in 2013. I don't know the exact date, but I know they had, because I asked them, the pills seemed to be selling. So they said
fentanyl pills.
Okay. Well, at that time it wasn't called fentanyl pills. They called them, I think, dirty 30s.
Right. But they were from Mexico. It's fentanyl.
Now I can say with positivity, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Then I really didn't know. I didn't know the whole scope of it since I've been watching it for how many years, what it's doing. And
so you're taking these runs, you're getting in tight with this family, and you're still working at the furniture store?
Yeah.
So you're like Walter White almost. You're like you're a square during the day.
Well, I guess, square during the day.
Wow.
Yeah. But I started getting so busy that the line between my job and my extracurricular activities, it was so blurred. I couldn't do it anymore. I had so many clients, I couldn't do it anymore.
And are these still just users, or are you off the
These are users. Yeah.
Because you're still at the retail level. You're not hitting people off with work.
No, these are users and guys that sold for me.
Okay, yeah, both.
Yeah, so it was getting so busy. Didn't realize at the time, because I've never seen I've heard people get addicted to coke. I don't know. I don't know what is in there to get you addicted to it. Same thing with meth. I understand you can't die from meth. Coming off of meth, cold turkey, you get tired.
Right.
But there's nothing in it like with fentanyl that, benzos that will kill you from getting off. So to me, it was weird. I was like, but when people started using the pills and I get addicted, the concept of time didn't work with them. They can't say, oh, Pete's at work till 8 tonight. Let's wait till he gets home. It was showing up at my work and saying, hey, can you come see me outside? I was like, dude, we can't be doing this. Like, they would show up at my work. So I had
So you had to quit.
I had to find out I can intermesh both of them. That's what I did. So I winded up taking all the guys that were coming to me and saying, okay, there's a mattress store connected to this with a public bathroom in between both. Text me when you're at the bathroom. I'll have everything pre-packed. I'll come meet you in the bathroom. But that still wasn't because there was only 2 stalls in there. And then I sat down one night and I had the guys over my work, and I was thinking, we have to do something so that you guys take the heat off me a little bit. So I said, I'm going to come in early. I'm going to pre-package and preset different packages, pills all over the store. Only I will know. The bigger ones are in the back. I said, the client's going to come in. They're going to ask me to put something on layaway. That's the key word, because the layaway cannot happen without the manager's approval.
Right.
So as long as I'm working, they're going to come get me. And the layaway for bedrooms was pills. The layaway for living rooms and kitchens and stuff like that was coke and stuff like that. So they would come and say, hey, this guy wants to go put something on layaway. So as I'm walking this huge store, what do you want? And we just talk, and we just, all right, how many pills? All right, go get this. I know it sounds freaking dumb. I had them in vases. I had them stuffed in discontinued pills that you cannot sell. So someone couldn't just come in and grab it and find the drugs in there, because it was an item that shouldn't be sold. But I put them in there knowing that, and I made the exception and signed off on it and sold them that. Or I'd put stuff up in ottomans, in refrigerators, recliners, and have the truck go deliver to the house. So they would just come to the house. Wow. They know what's in the recliner. It's a $50 recliner because it's discontinued, and then they know it's taped up inside, and the guy delivers it, gets the money, brings it back, and everything goes through the front desk person. So I wind up in the midst of it. The front desk person would do the sales for me, would weigh, put pill, whatever was in my office, which is the only place that didn't have a camera. And they would put it in an envelope, staple the receipt to it for the layaway, come out, hand it to the customer, and the camera just sees the receipt going back to the customer and setting up delivery, and they would come in and constantly see me.
Wow. This seems like a lot of work. Most people would just quit their job.
Well, it got to that point. It got to the point where almost all the salespeople were working for me. Almost.
From the furniture store?
From the furniture store, yeah, because some people quit.
And everybody works at a furniture store as a junkie anyways.
Yeah. So I winded up getting to the point where it got so freaking packed and so hectic.
Would you have more people in there buying drugs than you would for furniture sometimes?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, you must have been making a lot of money at this point because you're getting essentially free cocaine, meth, and pills.
But
you're getting them in varieties too.
Correct. But what I had to try to ease my day, I would pay a lot for drivers, for runners, for people to just be at my house. I started getting paranoid. I mean, it gets bad. Right. I mean, but if you make $50,000 a month and that's your take home, I mean, that's gross. You're walking away. It's a drug business. Yeah. Every time you have a come up, you always have a come down. Yeah. Always. I don't know about you, but every time I seem to have a freaking $30,000 weekend, I get cracked in the head and robbed, or someone knew where it was, or something. I mean, always.
Really? You couldn't go to your cartel guys?
Yeah.
If you got robbed?
Yeah, but like you said, what are they going to do? Go start shooting up here in town? And to them, it was like, hey, it's no big deal.
Exactly.
We know you're telling the truth. Just here's some stuff.
We have so much more drugs than is worth to go kill somebody.
Correct. But it got to that point where one salesperson did not work for me. And she made a comment one time. The company just got bought out to a private franchise, to a private owner.
Can you name the...
No, I can't.
You can't name the furniture company?
No, I can't.
Ashley Furniture.
I can't.
Ashley Furniture. Remember, folks, if you buy furniture at Ashley Furniture, you're supporting drug trafficking.
You're so dumb.
IKEA.
No. No.
But, by the way, were you the only one? I assume you were the only guy getting it from the cartel, right? They weren't giving it to any other wholesalers in town. Any other white guys?
No, I'm sure they were. They had a few people that they were dealing with.
Okay.
It wasn't just me. No.
These little towns are such money makers for the cartel. It's a no-brainer. It's so easy to take over because there's only a few competent dealers and no competition.
Right.
Portland is the same way. Portland, Oregon, where I'm from. Like everybody that I was locked up with, especially in county jail, getting ready to go to the feds, was all just Mexicans. They didn't even know what state they were in. They were just like, nobody has the bomb, meth, heroin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
100%. But I mean, that one girl made a comment one time to the new bosses, and they said, I think Pete sells drugs to the customers. And they go, why would you say that? And she goes, he's always high-fiving people coming out of the bathroom, and then they leave. Why would he do that? She just had nothing to do but to look and watch. And she didn't like that I sold a lot. I don't know what the reason was. Maybe because she was telling the truth and she didn't like it. I don't know. But they wind up coming to me and saying, hey, we had an accusation today about they call you the pill guy. I'm like, don't know what you're talking about. And they said, well, would you take a UA for us? I said, sure. So I went to the lab, took the UA, passed, because I had stuff, obviously I knew I was going to pass. And winded up in that another 2-3 weeks, they asked me to do it again. I did it again. And then on my day off, I came in what's called the full enchilada bed deal, which you can sell a Tempur-Pedic mattress, you sell the base, you sell the comforters, you sell the pillows, every aspect of that sale. It's called the full enchilada. And it was on my day off, like $14,000 sale. So I came in, they said, hey, you need to go take a UA after this. I said, it's my day off. and I'm leaving after this. I said, I'm working on my day off. And they said, well, you're going to take it. I'm like, no, I'm not. They said, if you don't take it, we're going to consider that your resignation. I said, you can't do that. I said, I don't have a write-up. I don't have anything in my record to prove anything otherwise, and I've already passed 2. And they said, we said what we said. So once I was done with the sale, I went home, and they called up and they said, hey, you've been fired because we accept your resignation. You've been fired. I said, so you're firing me. So I wanted to try to file an L&I claim, and they wouldn't do it. They said because they warned you it was going to be a resignation. And so now I have a whole new set of problems. I don't have a store. I don't have a place that I can go into to handle all the customers. Everyone knows where I live. So they started coming by the apartment, and they didn't know a couple of them knew the exact apartment, but they knew the complex and where I came from. So I did that for a while. The guy below me, he was a lawyer, and he wound up calling me and saying, hey, Pete, come downstairs for a second. He's right below me. I went down. I said, what's up? He goes, man, what are you working with? I said, what do you mean? He said, what are you working with right now? I said, he goes, Pete, stop. He goes, 75 people came to your apartment today. I said, not that many. He goes, I'm telling you, me and my fiance are watching and counting. Wow. All day long we hear the stairs. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. He goes, so I took out some Coke and showed him. He did it. And he's like, that's some good stuff. He says, give me $5. He goes, all right. He goes, some advice from a client to a customer. He goes,
from a lawyer.
He goes, you probably need to look at another place to stay. He goes, I'll have you lay. I like you living here. He says, but you're gonna raise red flags. So I did a midnight run, which just said at midnight, I had one of my dealers go purchase or rent another apartment like a mile away. And at midnight, I packed all my stuff so no one could see me leave. And I shot over there, went into the new place, thought, hey, it's all good now. No one knows where I'm staying. And my son one day gets on his bike, says, I'm going to ride down the block to Albertsons. I didn't even tell the guys I was working with, my partners. I told nobody. And he left, and about 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from him from some weird number. I said, what are you doing? Whose number is he? He goes, Dad. He goes, some guys in this truck just pulled over and asked me to get in and threw the truck in the back, threw the bike in the back of the truck. And we're down in the apartment right now. I said, put him on the phone. I said, bro, what are you doing? I said, you don't pick up my son like that. He's like, you can't just move without telling us. I said, I can. I don't owe you money. And they said, no, but wait, it freaked us out, Pete. We don't know what happened. You're not at our place. We don't know where you're at. We think the worst. You're going to roll. We don't know. So I was like, my son came back and it was nothing bad. Right. Everyone says, bullshit, that's kidnapping.
Did your son, I mean, obviously he'd been on trips with you, which is crazy, but did he know who these Mexican guys were that you were hanging out with?
By name, yeah. They were friends, like I said, they took him to school. When he went to high school, they took him to school. They hung out, played games. Yeah. Came over on holidays. I mean, it was that type of, that type of relationship. I know it sounds bad. I'm not making.
So you were trapping out of an apartment, even though you had all this dough and all this. You had the plug. At this point,
I wasn't trying. I tried not to.
Yeah.
I mean, I really did try not. I set up other ways to deliver.
Did you? You're dealing with opioids, and then you're also dealing with uppers, stimulants. Did you notice what was the difference between the clientele for each?
The opiates, just people will kind of come hunt you down to find you,
right? Because they have to have it. They have to have it,
and a few times I got set up. I had my skull cracked open because someone knew I had a bunch, so they wanted to meet me, and they wanted to meet me in a dark place, and they said, "Hey, we don't trust you, let's meet." And it was in the street, open but dark, and. One thing led to another. They flipped me some bad shit. I was going to buy a bunch from them because they supposedly had all these pills, and I'm looking to buy as many as possible. Right. And they threw me something I can tell by the weight and the feel of it that it wasn't it. I threw it back to him, and he's like, he says, you don't have to open it. You have to trust me. I said, bro, we're talking thousands of dollars. I'm not going to trust you. So when I opened up and looked down, he hit me on the head with a pipe, and it cracked my head open. I got robbed that time. And another time I got set up and shot back, I don't know what day it was exactly, but when one of the guys that was my partners, he winded up getting picked up. So that connection, I don't know exactly what date it was, but that connection went away.
Your Mexican connection.
My Mexican connection went away. So I was for the bigger dealers in town until I can find out what's going to go on. I started buying from them, and I had money, so it wasn't small deals. They could boats or 1,000 pills at a time. Right. But the one time I got given some product that looked pretty good, and I said, "Well, let me meet your guy." And I got in the car, and everyone told me, "Pete, I don't feel good about this one, man. Don't do it." And I hopped in the back of the car with my friend, who I found out he set me up on this whole thing. Didn't know I was going to get shot, but he just wanted the pills, which is what I'm saying with the pills is greedy. They just have to have them. As soon as I got in, they locked the door, and there was no knob on the back door. So I know when you put it in park, usually it'll open up. So I have my hand, as soon as that car went into park, I opened up to try to get out, and there was someone out there had a gun to me. And I said, "Get down." I said, "I'm not getting down." And I said, "No, I'm not going to be any bitch." And then I hit my phone and make it light up. And I said, "Oh, shit." And I tried to pretend I had a phone call, and they bought it for a few seconds. I'm like, "Hold on, guys." And I started walking away. I got about 30 yards away. And they started running after me. And they ripped my pockets. They took my cash, most of it. And as they walked away, I was like, "You guys are a bunch of bitches. You have to rob them. 4 guys to rob me." He goes, "Shut up." Boom. And he shot me right in my heel and blew my heel out. Whoa. So
God damn.
That went from, I went to the hospital after that. I tried to call around because I knew once a gunshot and hospital cops.
Yeah.
Well, one of the guys that I supposedly trusted that bought for me that was in that arena said, "Just come here and I'll look at it real quick, take care of it." And when I went in there, the cops were waiting there for me, and they interrogated me, and they said, "What happened?" I said, "Well, I was walking down Court Street, and I tripped over a rock, and I thought I hurt myself. I tripped over a rock and hurt myself, and I realized I got shot." The guy goes, "You know how freaking dumb that sounds?" I said, "That's what I'm sticking with." He goes, "So you were walking," it's actually in the newspaper the next day, 40-year-old man walking down Court Street gets shot. It's so stupid.
Right.
But I told him that's what happened. Wow. Anyway, he started interrogating me more and more, and I just checked myself out. They didn't take care of that. I almost lost my foot, had cellulitis. My foot blew up. I was trading pills for antibiotics. I couldn't get antibiotics. I couldn't go to doctors. The amount of prescription that I was getting from that doctor started raising alerts from the pharmacies.
Oh, I see. The original doctor.
Was
giving you pills.
In overload. So the last time I went to the pharmacy, they said, "We don't accept their prescriptions anymore." I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "They're under investigation." I said, "What?" Sure enough, that doctor was on the investigation, got indicted, was arrested. I didn't follow. I know they did a very small amount of time, and I know why they did that amount of time.
Yeah.
But so there was no pharmacies anymore to go to. Every client was blacklisted from the pharmacies and from pain clinics. So I couldn't go anywhere. So I'm now going out.
So they closed down the Oxy business, basically.
They tried to close it down in the direction I had it. I threw my phone out when that guy got arrested. Yeah. Got a new phone, Metro PCS. I don't remember you Metro PCS. So you put your email address in to your phone, and it pulls up all your contacts. So I saw one contact that had a plus, I think 53 or 5. What was in Mexico?
57.
57.
Yeah.
And
it might be Colombia. I can't remember.
I think it was 53, whatever it was. But I text that number. And they said, "Who is this?" And I said, "It's Petey." "Petey, oh, it's so-and-so." I said, "What the hell do you have this phone number for?" And I called him and started talking. And he's like, you didn't think I was who I am. I said, "What are you talking about?" And this person that I used to drive around Phoenix to Greyhound stations because he had no car was really the main guy. That was the whole time. I didn't even know it.
He was the guy running this whole ring.
He was the guy running what I was doing with my part and everything. I was like, "Oh, you're kidding." He's like, "No." He says, "What do you need?" I said, "Oh, so-and-so got arrested." He goes, "Ah, yeah." He goes, "I know. I don't like to deal with him anymore." I said, "Well, you can't." He's arrested. He goes, "What do you need?" And at that time, I was buying him for $14.
What
in
for
the very
14?
beginning, the blues, Mexies, whatever you call them, the fentanyl pills,
Yeah.
for $14.
Okay. And what were you selling them for?
We sold them for 30, 35. When there was a drought, and there was a drought a lot of times,
Yeah.
we went as high as $100 a pill. We'd have auctions, and people would buy it. You have no idea.
So you say you want this for 50? I got a guy who wants it for 75.
100%.
Holy shit.
100%. And
Seller's
people are like,
market.
oh, bull crap. I said, I'm not joking you. And you're never put in a position that you feel like you need something or you're going to die, ever, besides then.
Right.
So he hooked this deal up and said, you just got to go to Phoenix and meet my guys. I said, I've been there a million times. No problem.
Right.
I said, I'll be there tomorrow. I said, how much I get them for? He goes, $5. I was like, oh man, I'm done. I'll kill it. So I drive down there. I go to I think it was a Travelers Inn or IHOP. And there was someone waiting there. And when I got out, because they wanted to know what car I was in, so the guy handed me a letter and I said, go to here. So I went to another place, got there. He handed me a number. I called the number. The guy's on the phone talking to me. He's like, where are you at? What are you driving? Where are you right now? He's, I'm going to hotbox you when you get close to right when I'm about to make a left. You'll hear a noise. And sure, I didn't know what it was, but like in my ear. He goes, did you hear that? I said, yeah. He goes, make a left. Park. And it was just an alleyway that was so dark. And I was like, shit in my pants, dude.
So they were doing that to probably following you,
Well,
making
because
sure
that guy
no cops were on you,
that
right?
guy was, yeah. But that guy was in Mexico, and once this person got arrested, certain people went back to
Right.
Mexico, didn't want to come.
Right. But they were setting you on this treasure hunt, probably following
100%.
you. Yeah, making sure that you didn't have a tail.
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
100%. So
Smart.
he says, get out, walk. And I'm walking, and I see the lights flicker on way down there. And I get in the car. When I got in the car, there was a guy in the back with these devil dermals things right here. It's freaking crazy.
Wow.
He had tats all over his face, gun laying across his lap. And the driver looks at me and says, you're a cop. I said, no, I'm not. He goes, yes, you are. I'm like, I'm not. And I said, here, call so-and-so. And he called me. He's like, dude, this guy's, he's been with these years. He goes, he's so-and-so. He's like, this is him? He looks like a cop. He's like, he's not. He goes, just do it. So he hands up the phone and he hands me a foil and a pill and says, smoke this. I said, bro, I don't smoke that stuff. I'll do pill, I'll do drugs, but I'm not smoking that. He goes, if you smoke that, you're not getting it and you're not leaving the truck. I'm like, I'll smoke it. So I smoked the whole pill.
You smoked up a whole fentanyl pill?
The whole fentanyl pill. Bro, never felt like in my life. It was like, what does it feel like? Butterfly. I don't know. Butterflies, cool feeling. I don't give a shit feeling. It's something that I just instantly, as bad as it sounds, fell in love with that feeling.
We're always told and warned about how such a small amount of fentanyl can kill a person. If you didn't have any tolerance for it, how could you survive smoking a whole pill?
Those pills, they don't put hardly anything. They put a small amount in the batch.
Right.
And it's just a small amount.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
I knew
So like 0.1% of a gram?
Oh, I don't even know.
Who knows, right?
They say a tip of a pencil
Right.
is enough to kill you. I don't know what it is. Okay. I just know that they had, people were smoking these things.
Yeah.
You could smoke up to 10, 15. Right. Now I'm not saying they're more dangerous, but people seem to be dropping dead quicker now than back then. But I liked it. That's all I know is I liked it.
Wow.
Went on.
So how much did they give you? How much did they give you after you smoked it up?
It was 1,000 pills.
Okay, so you're picking up a boat.
Yeah.
For $5 a pill.
Yeah.
And you can still sell them for?
Oh, I already had them sold. They're already pre-sold.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I literally went there and wait 2 days and I'd come right back. I don't have a job now. I can be on the road a lot, Wow. So I did that and I did it a bunch. I can't tell you how many times, but 50 plus times in in the days of doing it.
Oh, so now you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They were making hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm just saying, out of 1,000, if you buy them for 5, sell them for 30, you're making $25,000 profit, or one free pill for every one you smoke. If I took it myself, but I had drivers, I was getting ripped off. It happened. So I had not gotten to the gun situation before.
So you had the whole crew now. You had a whole crew bringing it back.
I've had a crew. They were just
driving
the coke and stuff like that. But something dark happened when that fentanyl came, it just changed everything.
How so?
I wasn't worried in the very beginning about getting jumped, about getting hit, I never really worried about it. I thought people would respect me for who I was. They don't care. But something happened when those pills came in that's when I brought a blade before, because it was a weird, eerie feeling at night. Like you can't trust anything.
So did you see people turning into addicts?
Oh, 100%.
When you started bringing these things back?
100%. Yeah. And I felt bad. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm so far in.
Okay, so you're becoming an addict. You're hooked.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, after that first time, 100%.
Wow. One pill. How much are you smoking?
When I got arrested, 40, 50 pills a day you can smoke easy.
God.
Now let's go back to let's go back to the science of it. The fentanyl is in your system, and it gives you you can feel the effects. If you're not used to taking drugs, you'll feel high, and that would be about maybe a week. You'll get that feeling. Yeah. That's it. But after that week, you start to get sick in 40 minutes after you take that first pill, or after you smoke it, because I wasn't taking it. Yeah. And that's another. I know people drop dead from that, but people take it whole, and they take it and they can drop because it's all in your system at once.
Right.
But you smoke a little bit at a time. Yeah. In my mind, I was justifying it. But 30, 40 minutes after that, you start to feel sick. Yeah. So you just take that pill to feel better. Yeah.
You're just getting well.
You're getting well. Yeah. So it went from let's get high to let's get well. I can't get out of bed until I can smoke 4 pills and feel better.
Oh my! So for 1 week, you're getting high, and then for the next however long till you die or go to prison, you're just getting better. You're just getting to zero. You're just getting to baseline.
That's the crazy thing.
Wow.
So think about that.
That's opioids.
So if I were buying pills myself at $20 a pop, that's $1,000 that I'm consuming. But yeah. And now you're going other drugs, and then you're getting ripped off, and then I got pulled over once or twice, so I started getting paranoid. So I had 6 different drivers that would drive me around. You know, I always was told if there's no hand-to-hand, there's no hand-to-hand transaction, they can't get you. So I'm like, cool.
Sure.
So I started using Heidi key magnet things and putting pills in that, and then having my guys go by on bicycles and popping them on the license plate in the parking lots of where we're meeting them. Wow. So when I meet them, and it sounds so cliche, but I'm like, hey, you have that money I let you borrow? Right. And they give me the money. Yeah. And I said, I'll just give you a call in a couple minutes. If they came in at me, I have money, I have no drugs. Right. When they call me a few minutes afterwards, I'll tell them where it's at, or parking lots, or stop signs, or wow. They have those sprinklers, the Heidi key sprinklers, and I put them over at a certain park, and I'd bury them and send coordinates to each splat so that I wouldn't get caught. Twinkie boxes, in garbage cans, in the toilet bowls, in the containers, in the Pelican waterproof things. I just dump it in the third stall in the back. No one's going to open up a public bathroom and look in the back. It's gross.
This is so bizarre, man.
Yeah. So it was Airbnbs I just heard about them during that time. Yeah. And we would rent the Airbnbs, and we put them up in the vents with a string that was connected. So once you pull the string and it comes down, anything that I could do to not do a hand-to-hand.
You must have never slept.
I didn't.
And you get rid of 1,000 pills in a day.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. If you're moving.
I mean, if you could personally smoke.
Well, that's only 10 customers.
Right. If you could personally smoke 50 pills a day, I mean, you just see the scope of this market.
But you never really smoke them by yourself. Let me tell you that right now for the record. Yeah. You have people around you. So when I say 50 pills I'm going through, people took hits off of it. I don't know if it's a full pill, but I'm just giving generalities there. But yeah.
So you put the other drugs to the side and just focused on fent?
I still had them. For personal use. I still had them for friends that still liked coke that didn't want to get into that. And, meth for the drive. I always thought meth was a dirty, dirty drug. Someone said to me, why did you think that was dirty and not fentanyl? I said, one's prescribed and one's not. So one's okay and one's not, even though I know it's not right.
One's prescribed by the Sinaloa Cartel, a guy with horns on his face.
Yeah, it was
very naive of you. You can see how this is a television show. This is like a television show in my mind, because it's like small town white America. that's like playing bad guy.
I know.
You know, it's like,
and no one believed it because the first few times I got pulled over, I have my detective's card in the windshield of the car. And they're like, oh, who's that? Oh, my dad. Oh, your dad's a detective? Oh, he was. He's retired now. And then look it up and say, oh, yeah. Oh, man, have a good day, bud.
yeah.
Nothing. They wouldn't think.
So you never got popped with any of the trips you were taking? Nobody ever got popped?
I got pulled over a couple times.
But they never searched it?
No. I know one time I wound up on one of my trips, I got nervous. You know, I haven't really talked about it a lot, but I got nervous. Once I realized that I was going to be the main car driving, I got real nervous, and I think it was my first trip being that middle guy. Every rest stop area, I would let air out of my back tire, and then I called my partner. I said, "Dude, there's something wrong with this car, man. What's wrong?" I said, "Back tire's flat again." And he sends someone to pump it up, and it happened 2-3 times. I said, "Bro, can I just be honest with you?" He's like, "Yeah." I go, "I'm letting the air out." He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Bro," I don't know. I'm nervous. He goes, "We can't turn back. We have a time limit." So. Yeah. I said, "Can you get you guys over here real quick?" And they said, "For what?" I said, "I'm just going to pray over the car." And they go,
"Pray over the car?
You're going to pray? You think God is going to protect a drug guy?" I go, "I don't know. I don't think that." I said, "But it's going to make me feel better." I said, "Hey, my son is doing bad stuff, but I'll never disown him." I said, "So he's my father in heaven. So he's not going to, I don't know. I just don't want to die. All right. I don't want to go to prison." He's like, "Oh, do what you need to do." And they said, "I'm crazy, local." I'm like, "Whatever." I prayed over there and did it. And
those aren't real Mexicans if they don't believe in praying over a batch of
they believe in praying over that scent, whatever. Yeah. I don't know what it is. But anyway, so I got nervous. I got nervous doing that. They said never got pulled over like that. But I was at one point in time. I remember the change to thinking I'm never going to get caught.
Right.
To thinking I'm screwed now. And we had a friend of mine had a trap house that he let me use to deal. After a few months, he told me I can move in there. And so I had the one apartment and then this where I do business at, so I can separate the two.
Right.
Well, the trap wound up becoming the home because you never leave there. And it got busted a couple times. I mean, SWAT team, CAT team, whatever it was, they pulled out, everyone lined up, they ran everyone's backgrounds. And always with me, they would say, "All right, you go, you Polis, you can go." They're like, "Dude, stop hanging around these guys. These guys are up to no good." I said, "Yeah." So the third time, the head of the CAT team at the time, he said, "I'm curious about something." He goes, "This is the third time we've raided a place that you're at, and you have no record at all." He goes, "What are you doing here?" I said, "You know, when Jesus walked the earth," I said, "He didn't hang out with the kings and queens. He hung out with the guys in the miry clay and try to show them a better way." Yeah. He goes, "So you're telling me that you're at these trap houses just trying to get these guys off drugs and a better life?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I remember that. Have a good day." And I walked away and felt the sharpest stab. And I turned to my buddy. I said, "Dude, I think I'm going to get arrested." He's like, "Don't say that." I go, "Dude, I just mocked God so bad. I just used my relationship to get out of an arrest." And I said, that doesn't go unnoticed. It doesn't go unpunished. He goes, "God's not going to punish you." I said, "He doesn't have to." I said, "I just did it to myself." So that cop he told me later on, he made it his personal vendetta to find out everything about it. He started asking, calling around. He said he looked up everything. One day I was in Best Buy parking lot, 2 a.m. My son was supposed to turn himself in for some missing court date. He was supposed to turn himself in at a certain time and he didn't. So I drove him there and he's like, "Dad, I'm not ready yet." So I went around the block to Best Buy, 2 a.m. I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting. I said, "Make up your mind, but we have to either crop or get off the pot." Put my feet up on the dash and I wake up, my son hits me and his weed just lights are on us. And I was like, he knocks the window and he said, "Mr. Polis." I'm like, "Shit." I said, "What's up?" He's like, "I finally found a way to arrest you." I said, "You think so, huh?" I said, "What did you pull me over for?" He goes, "There was a disturbance at the jail." Now I was just at the jail and I walked my son up. He threw, he didn't want to go in. We went back to the car. He goes, "We followed you." I said, "You didn't follow me because it's like a block away." He goes, "Whatever. Here we are." He goes, you left for Arizona in 2008. I said, yeah. And he said, here's my driver's license. He says, thank you. You won't be needing that anymore. And he tucked it away. And he said, did you know that your license expired in 2010? I said, yeah, but I have a Arizona license. He goes, you're in Washington. I said, yeah. He says, if you don't pay your expired tabs and your license, it's suspended. You see the keys in the ignition? He said, you're under arrest for driving on a suspended license. He said, I'm not a betting man, but I bet you if I search you, I'm going to find some pills. I said, well, the odds did go in your favor. And he pulled me out, and I had only 10 in one of those Haida pens. Mm-hmm. And I took that, and he listened, and he broke it open and found 10. I was arrested. I was let go on over recognizances.
Yeah.
But that's one arrest.
Yeah. So now you can be searched.
Now you
system. Can be, you're in the system. They got your prints.
And he continued to press people. Everybody he saw me with, they would arrest for leaving that area.
Right.
And then lean on him for me.
And this was like a local detective for like the Pasco.
It was a task force assigned. It was Operation Clean Sweep. They were assigned to try to take down the fentanyl deals in the area.
Right.
And they said, your name keeps coming up. Everywhere we look, your name keeps coming up. So we're looking at, so it went to that point. I don't know why the day I got arrested, I don't know why I wanted to go to court, but I wanted to get the license thing. I wanted to get it unchanged and get my license back. I thought I could go to court.
Okay. So when you get arrested, when you get busted, how long between when that cop first got on you and arrested you for the first time to when you got busted by the feds?
6 weeks.
That's all?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he pulled me out a few times out of the trap houses and the places that they bust. He pulled me out, and he knows me. It was that last time when I told him what I was doing that he really, I guess, started researching me.
Right. And were you sucked up? Like, what is a fentanyl addict? This is a dumb question. I sent
you a picture of my.
Okay. So you were all sucked up like a junkie. Yeah. You were emaciated. Okay. So you're really more of a junkie than a drug kingpin by the end.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
100%. Everyone's getting arrested around. I'm hearing stories about the guys that I was dealing with. They're all going down in these huge raids, and I'm just trying to get, because he took my license. I was trying to get my license to get out of town, and it didn't go that way.
Your ex-wife must have known about what was going on, right?
Knew. Yeah, because my son was getting arrested, and she was hearing stuff, and one of her good friends was a cop, and kept saying, dude, your ex is into some bad stuff.
And your son was a fentanyl addict?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So when you got busted, how was it? The state? Was it like the task force, or was it the DEA?
Oh no! When I got arrested, it was DEA, FBI was there, ATF was. They didn't know what to expect. Wow! Because all the other dealers too, when there was guns involved, money involved. The last place that I was dealing with, they had a safe in there, like $100 and something thousand in there, and they took that, and so they all came, 30, 40 agents. Plus agents were there when I got arrested.
They came to your place?
That came, well, my son's friend had a Motel 6, and I was going to go in there, take a shower, have my friend pick me up and drive me to court. So when I got to take the shower, he calls me and says, I can't get to that place because the road's blocked off. There's a bunch of feds there. I'm like, And he says, helicopters, drones. He goes, I don't know what's going on. He said, but I can't get to you. He said, you got to make it to me. So I went to the balcony, and my son goes, Dad, I think they're for you. And I go, no. He goes, I think they're feds. I'm like, no. I went on there on the phone, my buddy looking around, and I seen a Dodge truck pull up and look at me. And then in reverse and went across the street to the Great Wall of China Cafe or something like that, and put binoculars on me, and my stomach dropped. I said, oh shit, I think that is me. So I went in there to put some, I had no shirt on. I was going to go get dressed real quick. And then I get in there and I started doing my hair. I don't know why. I was doing my hair, and I see the mirror to the outside door, and I see like an AR or some kind of rifle come and call my name. I said, Pete Polis. I'm like, yeah. They go, can you come out here? I said, can you come in here? They said, not for another 5 minutes and 29 seconds, waiting for the warrant to get signed. I said, so I came out about this close, and I was like, I'm looking, he's like, it's so surrounded, you're going nowhere. I'm like, It doesn't mean I just give up. I didn't know what to do. You know, I try to act tough. I try to act like it didn't bother me. I was scared, you know?
Yeah, of course.
It's a huge, when I went outside and saw how many cops lit that place up and the dark Suburbans and the windows and the indictment, when they said you're federally indicted, and it was a weird looking, you know, it didn't say Benton County. It said United States of America versus. I was like, what the frick is that?
Oh, so it was a Fed case. It's not like it got turned over to the feds later.
No, it was a Fed case from the beginning.
Wow.
They used the 2 minor pickup arrests as an indictment. I mean, I'm definitely not going to sit here and badmouth cops, but I mean, some of the cops are not upright and honest in their tactics. But then again, I was a drug dealer, so I don't expect them to be that way.
Okay, so you got arrested. What did this discovery paperwork, when you first got brought in, what did it say?
It just had 2 counts of distribution, and it showed the 2 times that I was arrested, and they had 5 people cooperating.
Right.
That were going to cooperate against me. They had testimonies on when they met me and what I started providing for them in the beginning and how much I was selling it for and where I would meet them. And so it was 4 or 5 guys from the get-go.
Did they lie on the paperwork, or were those your real?
No, that was their get out of jail free card. they used their jet.
Right.
They get arrested.
But these were real people that you were giving product to.
Yeah, they were real people.
Okay.
But they would lean on people on purpose. You know, driving down the street, we'll pull you over, you swerved. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. I mean, it's whatever, but they were cooperating. So I went and got arraigned. I remember I was just about to smoke a pill, and I was, because I was feeling like crap. And I got arrested, and I said, this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
So I went there. They brought me before the magistrate, and she said, I'm up on 2 counts of distribution, each punishable up to 20 years. I'm looking at 292 months in prison. I'm like, I don't even have a record.
Right.
I mean, minor ones, but nothing.
Yeah.
So I went there, and I went through 3 attorneys, which I thought was weird. I had an attorney that was excited about the case. He said, I can't wait to do this. This is a real cool case, like a movie. I'm like, all right. He's like, how'd you do that? And so we started talking, and a week later, conflict of interest. I guess he got pulled off my case. And then I was given another one that for 4 weeks, I told everything that I did, you know, because I wanted the best, if I can get a deal possible. And then after that, he represented one of the girls that was testifying against me. So conflict of interest. Yeah. Because she got picked up, so he had to take her. But he knows everything about me. And then the third one, you know, he got me. They didn't do anything for me, bottom line. I mean, my base offense level was a 16. They said it was a 42. But I had no priors. It was my first time arrested.
Yeah, wow.
But
imagine that being your first time getting arrested as a Fed case.
Yeah.
A Fed bust.
Yeah, Fed bust. Yeah, and I kept fighting it. They said 292 something. Then it went down to 190 something months and 181. And they got down to, the prosecutor said, we're willing to cap it at 60 months if you just plead guilty to 1 count. And I said, then they said, if not, we have a few people that's going to cooperate about you trafficking drugs from here to Phoenix and back over the last 3 years. And I'm like, how in the hell can they prove that? So I was like to my attorney, I said, can they go back in time and prove that I did it? And they said, well, yeah, they have license plate readers, they have debit cards. There's only a few gas stations along those routes. If you were seen there at all, she can get you for that. She goes, and then you're looking at 10 years because we're gonna supersede indict you for conspiracy and blah blah blah. So I said, well, if I plead guilty, those guys that are ratting on me, will they get will they get reduced sentences? She said, no. I said, all right, I'm guilty, whatever.
Yeah, 60 months.
It was 60 months. And then because—
5 years.
Yeah, because of I had a downward variance for charitable works done in the community, which was the food bank. They brought that up.
Okay, so when you went to court, you had people speaking on your behalf?
Speaking on my, but the discovery and the background investigation brought up what I did.
Right.
Like the judge was a little dumbfounded. Like, cop, pastor.
But they must have been able to see your drug addiction too.
Yeah.
I feel like that helps those mitigating circumstances.
100%.
Like, this guy's a junkie.
Yeah.
You know, even though you started off as a drug dealer.
I think I'm what, 220 now, and I think back then I was $170 something, $180.
You were sucked up.
Sucked up.
Were you, how was coming off of it when you were in jail?
God.
Hell, right? I used to have to sleep above the heroin addicts in the Inverness jail in Portland, coming off of that shit. And sometimes I would get into fights when that happened, just so they would send me to a higher wing because I'd want to get away from those dudes. Like, send me to where the criminals are at. Because it's a brutal, you smell. You can smell the opioids coming out of you.
You're crapping, you're puking.
Screaming.
Yeah. I guess they, when I got there, the drunk tank, so to say, was filled. And I saw everyone I was arrested with, and I saw my son on the floor. So I just said, I gotta use your mattress. And I went there and covered up. I think 5 to 6 days went by before I ever got my mugshot. They didn't, I was on the floor.
They didn't disturb you. You were just.
They didn't disturb. Yeah, it got to the point where I remember people pounding on the window saying, this guy needs a hospital. This guy's dying, because I was screaming. It hurt so bad. I never thought, Johnny, in my life that I would, I'd say, I'm not the kind of guy who would shoot anybody. But when you're like that and and you have pills on you, in my mind, I'm gonna kill you and take your pills and then worry about the repercussions later, because you don't think, you can't rationalize or think straight on that.
How
it
bad
hurts
that pain
so bad.
is.
Yeah. So I would say physical withdrawals, and of course everyone wants to think I'm lying, but it was about 8 to 10 months before I could up here have a good night's sleep without restless legs. Probably 2 months of restless legs, no dreams. You're the living dead. You don't have dreams on fentanyl. You don't dream when you're on fentanyl. You don't. You just you wake up in pure panic, because if you sleep 2 hours, you're already in full blown withdrawals when you wake up. So you wake up and you start to puke, and you smoke a pill and you feel better. And then you can get the energy to start getting up and getting ready. Second pill, you can maybe have a little bit of breakfast. It's dumb. You're a slave in your own life. And that's what it was. It was so difficult. But I remember seeing the light of day. I remember actually having a dream, a good dream. Most of my dreams towards that 6, 7, 8 month mark were me trying to get a pill and going all around town. And then all of a sudden I'd get one, and I finally were in a truck stop area, and I can light up, and then the wind came in and knocked it down a drain, and I was trying to get the drain undone. It was nothing but nightmare dreams like that.
Yeah.
It's terrible, but that's what I went through. But I remember having one good dream, and I was like, maybe I'm on the tail end of this. And that's when I started noticing people coming in and out of jail all the time. So I started asking questions like, why do you guys keep coming? It's my first time here. I don't want to come back. You guys come back twice in a week.
Yeah.
What's going on? Oh, it's our hustle. I said, what do you mean? They said, there's nothing out there for us, Pete. We go out there, we try to get a job. They don't provide us nothing, no support, no housing. We don't have nothing. We just last as long as we can last without using. And then we have to use and start selling again. And they said, but man, DOC, you have 8 violations before you do any real time. So we know we have like 5 more violations before I'm like, you guys got this thing worked out. That's when I started thinking, man, I messed this whole town. I thought I messed the whole town up, but there's a lot of other drug dealers there. But I did. I mean, I was a burden in society at that time.
Yeah, you got a lot of people high for a long time. I mean, you were one of the biggest distributors, probably, at least amongst your circle. I
would say if there's, now, I mean, the last couple of years are huge, but at that given time, if there was 5 big dealers, I was probably in the top 5. Everyone that was big got arrested, and we're talking about that lived in Tri-Cities, not just came to sell, but lived in here.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't hurting for money at the time. You literally employ boosters, more boosters than you know what to do. If they know you pay good, they come by, you got brand new stuff all the time.
Right. So you trade fentanyl for stolen shit.
We did everything.
Yeah.
Rock revivals, here's a pill, here's 3 jeans worth $300 because it's nothing.
The corruption, the moral corruption of being a slave to addiction is so crazy. I mean, it's just constantly plotting.
Yep.
It's constantly rationalizing. It's constantly, doing the wrong thing.
And then you have
fascinating.
you touch your nose and I do this, and it's like things I'm used to doing for so long that it became a habit. And like, oh, you're still using it because you look like a meth. I'm like, I just got a dry mouth. You know, you're nervous being on a show. You're being vulnerable with what you say. You know, you're telling people pretty much, hey, look at me. I'm a menace to society. I subjected my kids to all this crap.
Wow.
Yay. I mean, I'm not proud of it. You know?
Looking back, now that you've had some time out, you did 4 years. We're going to switch over
42 months to the T.
So
I did every
not bad.
Yeah, I had a 6-month downward variance from 48 to 42.
So
54, including state, that rank currently.
Okay. Yeah. Looking back, what do you think it is? What do you think it is about your life that you just kept falling into these things, and then you fell into fentanyl trafficking? What do you think it was? I know it's a really, really loaded question, but when you go through the program, AA, NA, you're supposed to. I
didn't go through any of those.
You didn't?
I was supposed to. I went through treatment. It's a 3-month intensive outpatient treatment where it would be, I had to go somewhere for 3 times a week, 3 hours per day. And they wound up having me say, what your struggle, success is, and what your clean date and whatnot. And, I didn't go to the NA. AA. I'm not downplaying them, but that wasn't my thing. My thing really was relationships and my relationship with God. Even when I was selling, I had a good relationship with Him. Right. So,
but why would you do that if you had a good relationship with God and you were making money? I mean, I don't know. Is there something deeper, or did you just want the money and you just saw the opportunity?
I think I just saw the opportunity and jumped on it. I don't think I was mentally all there. I was still hurting from my pastor dying. I went through divorces. I mean, my life wasn't the best. I mean, on the outside, people looking, oh, you have a nice car, you have a nice job, you make good money, it must be good. But there's always something there when nobody wants you around. Because I have bad traits myself.
So it's pain.
It probably was. It's probably something to do when I was a little kid. I don't know. Right. I don't know what made me work for an organized crime family. I don't know. It was exciting to me. Yeah. I know people say when you're done playing professional baseball, there's PTSD. And I'm like, I don't know about it. And they said you're used to playing in front of crowds. Yeah. You're playing for attention. You get that affirmation. And when you take it all away, a job just doesn't kick it. And I'm like,
totally. I believe that completely.
I don't know. Maybe I wanted to feel like the man again. Yeah. I don't know.
It's happened with a lot of athletes, though, like professional athletes. There's this one football player. He was like a huge weed trafficker. Can't remember his name. They did like a 30 for 30 on ESPN about him. Obviously Owen Hansen. We've had him in here. He wasn't a professional athlete, but he was part of like the biggest college football dynasty in history. Yeah, there is something about that, and you're competitive. Athletes are competitive, so building up a drug empire is like that's something that pushes them to want to be like the man. Yeah,
I mean I can see that because you go to when you're playing, you go to restaurants, you go to bars, free drinks, come eat here, do this, and I'm not even in the big leagues, but they still treat you amazing.
Right.
But then you go to like, hey, there's a 30-minute wait. Like, Right. But maybe it was some of that because there was times I go to eat. Olive Garden or and people come up to me and they say, hey, see that guy in the corner? He's one of the biggest dealers in such and such area. He'd like to talk to you afterwards. I'm like, so maybe, I'm getting drafted. I don't, it just felt like it felt good to be noticed about this. Right. So maybe it was that.
You felt like being the man.
Maybe you want to be the man. Maybe I grew up now and don't really care about being the man. It took me years to want to talk about it on air. And the only reason I do is because people said, hey, after hearing that story, they said, not only is it crazy, it'd be like a bad TV series, but it gives me hope that I don't have to come out of prison and fail because I think 97%, 98% of people, the recidivism rate, they go right back to selling. They don't make, or they make it and they don't do good. Maybe they have just a regular job. I don't know. But I mean, you, me, we're in a top percentage of doing something with our lives afterwards, Yeah,
I never really thought about that, but that's true.
The recidivism rate is crazy. And now being in recovery myself, I see when people say, dude, we remember you were so far in, and to see you come out and be on top of a game in another area, they said really blesses us. I'm like, well, so I started, and it's difficult talking about it. I get a bunch of crap every time I talk on a podcast about what I did to my family and my kids and my ex-wives. I'm like, listen, it is what it is.
Well, tell us what you're doing now, because you're doing excellent.
Yeah.
Tell us what the hustle is now. This is a racket.
He's so
Go ahead.
stupid. While I was locked up, seeing all those guys coming in and out, I decided to be part of the answer, so to say, instead of adding to the problem. So I wrote a business plan for a clean and sober organization. It's called Seasons Housing. And we help transition people coming out of treatment and out of prison and jail. We put them on the houses, and we have wraparound service, and we help them transition into the society in a better way, to be set up, help them with any areas they need. If they have areas, if they need to get their license back, we help them. If we can come up with the fine money to help them pay, and as long as they stay clean and get their stuff done. And we started out, with one house, obviously, and then we're up to 5 houses now.
And they house how many people per house?
It depends. My women's house has nine women in there. Some of the bigger men's houses have 10 to 14 people in there, 2 people per room. What's a little bit different about, I know that if you were to trust me in a house without supervision and without direction, it's going to become a trap house, I think.
Yeah.
So I made sure that me and my partner have managers at every single house.
Yep.
That do UAs, random UAs. They have house meetings, rules to go by, chores, everything that you need to do. Like, you already know, to be addicted to something, or maybe you don't know, but to brush your teeth and have good hygiene as an addict, you don't get that many people that do that.
Right.
They sacrifice one thing for the other.
Yeah.
I want to go get a pill instead of brushing my teeth. But I understand that I was like that too. So I make sure that these guys and girls get the treatment they need and get the things they need to succeed, so that when it's about a 15-month program in this house.
And these are all people getting out of prison, like coming out of prison?
Either getting out of prison, getting out of jail, getting out of a treatment facility. If they're in a detox center and they need a place to stay. Right now, we work with the Department of Corrections and the drug courts, and we have them in the houses now, because the owners are living examples. Me and my partner both, we had history of drugs in the past, history of getting arrested, and now we are going to be part of the solution.
Yeah.
At least we're giving people, a roadmap to success.
And it's free of charge to them, for them.
For them, it is.
Okay.
It is.
It's state money, or it's tax money.
Yeah,
that's
they have housing vouchers for Department of Corrections. Yeah, housing vouchers, or as part of a diversion, like with drug court, you can be looking at 18 months in jail.
Right.
Or if your case seems to be good, how about we'll put you in this house for 18 months, and we'll help you get back on your feet again, transition. Okay. And that's what it is. Okay. So then they would pay for that.
I see. So you guys, look, you don't really need to advertise, because you're in with the courts and stuff like that.
I have a waiting list of 200 plus people.
Wow.
I don't have enough houses.
Well, shout out. You need investors though. So shout out like how they can get a hold of you. And what the return is. You might be looking at one, I'm trying to get into this, I'm a predator. I'm trying to squeeze money out of the dope game.
Well,
somehow.
I understand this, Johnny. I've been approached before about investors, about people that had big money and they said, I want to invest, but what they want in return, like I'm not doing this just so that somebody can invest $1 million and make 15 million back. Right. They gotta have a good heart and want to help people. For sure. So I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what kind of investment. We have a detox center that we're looking at moving into mid next year. I think the remodel for this old hospital, I think it's about a $50 million project. Wow. But they have a deep medical detox. They got a diversion. They got inpatient, outpatient, and then we'll have the housing in there. And once again, 15 month program. If they graduate, then they can, when they move out. And I know with the drug court, they take their crime and they shred it.
Wow. So
which is cool in Washington. Cool. So they have this drug program. If they stay in the house for 18 months or whatever it is, and they successfully complete it, their charge that got them there is shredded. And that's a good bonus.
A good thing. That's a good thing.
I'm looking at when I got off of probation a year early because of the work I'm doing. They said I could be up for a presidential pardon for the work I'm doing, and the fact that it was really a one-time arrest deal, Will the good outweigh the bad? I don't know. But they said I can apply for it. And if it happens, I don't think it erases it. I think it maybe seals it. Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can never forget your crime. But I mean, you can you can go to like the website is seasonshousing.org.
Seasons Housing?
Yeah, seasonshousing.org.
Seasons Housing. If there's any whales listening to this show that have 50 sticks to invest, 50 million, I got that in pesos. So, Pete Polis, what an epic saga of a life. Incredible.
Sabotage life, maybe.
Well, you know, it all happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And so you're doing good now. You're housing the people that used to come in when you were in jail saying, we got nowhere to go. You know,
I've had a few people that was, when I was writing that business plan, when I was locked up, I had a few people say, man, boy, it's never going to happen. No one's ever going to give money to an ex-dealer to housing. And I'm like, well, it's going to happen. You know, if there's a way, God will make a way, guaranteed.
Yeah.
And they were some of the ones that came in and said, man, I just can't believe you did it. Like, that's crazy. You've only been out 4 years and
that's wild.
Full-fledged, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting battle, but I mean, still got my own demons to deal with, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just hoping to get the word out. I've had a couple of calls about shows, but I don't know who to. I asked Owen. I don't know who to trust. They're like, oh yeah, we can do this. I'm just gonna wait and see whatever happens.
Don't trust any of them, but you know, if they come with the check, take it. All right, we're gonna switch over to Patreon because I want to talk about prison because you were in Sheridan from my home state of Oregon. Probably saw some interesting things, and then we'll talk. We'll just bullshit.
Victorville and Lompoc.
Was that? Oh yeah, that's right. Victorville and Lompoc. So we're gonna talk prison talk. Pete Polis. We'll see you guys over at Patreon. Patreon.com/The Connect Show. Thanks so much, buddy. That was super fun. Appreciate it.
Thank you.